All
Oh,
right.
there we go.
And we are live. This is Critically Vibing. We got SO1 Ev, we got the GOAT Chris, and we got the other GOAT Jay. And we're about to talk about some shit today. I didn't even mean to rhyme. That was an accident.
Nah,
All
but it
right.
was clean.
Channeling
Thank
your
you.
inner Drake.
So,
Oh, that's
fellas,
foul.
certified lover boy. All right. So, fellas,
Yo.
first and foremost, how I want to start. How are your days going?
Oh, I'm good. I went to a state
Yeah,
fair.
I'm chilling. I'm chilling. Just patiently waiting for the school year to start. Went to my room, set up some stuff. Don't question how much I spent on classroom supplies, but yeah, I'm chilling.
This is good. And all right, we are live on Kick. And
By the way, if any of you are like really rich secretly, please feel free to donate.
if I was, you would know.
All right,
The
there will be
way he was
signs.
stoned on us, bro. All
Oh,
There
and
will
we're
be
actually live
signs.
on YouTube too.
right, cool.
All right, bet. So I feel like the low hanging fruit of today is our boy Graham Plattner.
He's not my boy.
Nah, he ain't mine. Hell no.
A little sarcasm on my part there. So who wants to who wants to start on our favorite Maine politician, Graham
uh, I'll
Plattner?
let I'll let Jamal take the floor. Go ahead.
Oh, all right. Honestly, I'm gonna be real with
Mm.
y'all. I was
Oh no,
What? Oh
he disappeared.
no! I gave him the floor and he
by the
fumbled.
way,
I'm just kidding. There you
Wait,
go. There you are.
that whole thing. We lost you. You cut out.
yeah, my power just like flicked off like
Damn.
hella fast and came back on.
Those.
So look,
Shut up.
just in case,
Mm-hmm. I got you.
uh here's my talking points just in case it goes out. Uh I was already 50-50 about bro. One, because
Mm.
uh those allegations didn't come from nowhere. Two, I refuse to believe someone that got a tattoo like that didn't question it for like what was it, like 12 years. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to
Mm.
believe that. And just how long he attempted to uh hold out this his withdrawal to stepping aside. That whole
Mm.
thing, that 11-minute video that said a bunch of nothing, and at the end he touted a bunch of buzzwords that he knew uh that base would take note of and get feral over, tells me not only that he definitely did that shit, he's not apologetic about it.
That's all
Absolutely.
facts. And it's crazy you said all that because before you got on here, that's basically verbatim what me and Chris just said before you joined us.
Yeah. Like I haven't seen the video of after the allegations of what he said. I didn't see the full one, but I did read the resignation letter, and it's just it was no mention about how he felt about the victim or the situation. It was just always bringing it back to we're going to tax the billionaires, get corrupt money out of politics, and stop the genocide and stop forever wars and all this sort of stuff. It was just his talking points. It was nothing to do about how he was apologetic, like Jamal just said, about what he had done or anything. Which is usually when people get caught doing something, they're more sorry for being caught. He's not even sorry for being caught. He's just upset that he's not going to be the one on the main ticket, which just shows me that he's just truly egotistical. Like I said, he's using these talking points to try and win sympathy, to say I'm on your side and blah blah blah, and not really looking at how his actions have impacted others in similar circumstances, like all the women that backed him and how many people. Like he didn't mention anything. That could have been a great moment for him to say, "Hey, I know I heard, especially to all the women out there who fight continuously to be heard." He didn't mention any of that, and that just shows me that it really is just a buzzword game of, like I said in chat, performative purity.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw, but he took the stance that this is straight up not true. I didn't do any of it. That was the stance that he took.
I'm not surprised, especially given.
So
I mean, like the Nazi tattoo that also reveals a lot of like ego that he has, and that he could. I mean, he didn't even remove it. Like this
Right.
guy tried to
Yeah.
get it covered up. He didn't remove it, and that's
Yeah.
why I guess I'm just very, careful when we're dealing with, the far left and their candidates, and when they do say stuff and against Israel, whatever. I understand legitimate criticism all around. We understand that. We all agree with that. We got that. But sometimes they take it a step too far with their criticism to where you're like, that's a little anti-Semitic. And then when you're backing a guy with a Nazi tattoo and dismissing, all the concerns and trying to say, oh, they're just trying to tear him down because he's going to get Medicare for all for us. I'm like, that's not it, bro. We just don't know where this man's going to go with his politics when he get into Congress, and we don't want to let someone who's an actual Nazi. I don't think he's an actual Nazi, but the fact that he had a Nazi tattoo it's a legitimate concern,
Right. And it's also I forgot what I was gonna say. Disregard that. Jamal, you got anything to add?
No, I mean he really. Chris already said most of what I had to say, but here's where I'll leave this in terms of Congress and in terms about the complaints about potentially hurting the progressive movement. Look, the progressive movement itself in Congress right now, that's the majority of Democrats right now. Even amongst the few capitalists we have, which would be Chris Murphy, Ro Khanna, and I believe at least two more Democratic senators. Even amongst them, they still vote around 90%. It takes around 60 votes to get a Medicare for all. Even if we were to regain Congress, it would be 51 to potentially 50. That's a split Congress.
Right.
It's not enough to get Medicare for all. So I'm not gonna buy people's suggestion of, oh, he was gonna give us Medicare. No, he wouldn't have. And considering how he interacts about women, I'm a little hesitant to believe he would vote in favor to help more women for Medicare for all. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, and I'm oh sorry, go ahead.
Oh, the other point I was going to add to that was the some of the people who are managing his campaign have kind of questionable backgrounds. I think one of them, I was reading an article about him being not charged, but he was accused of like sexual misconduct with women or something like that, and how they
Yeah.
didn't do they didn't vet him properly. Those were the biggest red flags that came out of his campaign, that they didn't vet him properly, and some of the people in charge of the campaign had some questionable backgrounds or when it comes to how they treat women and everything. So it's all around. I just I think, the far left has to be very careful, because here's the thing: when they mess up, that's going to be the biggest thing. Like Fox News is having a field day with this Graham Plattner story.
Which
They're
is
eating
ironic.
off of it. It is very ironic. You're not wrong about that, because when you look at Donald Trump, literally he had the richest man in the world doing a Nazi salute to him, like on his inauguration day. Like, what are you talking about? You can't call out the left or Democrats for platforming a Nazi or whatever, when you literally have the richest man in the world who not only was there at inauguration day doing a Nazi salute, but also he bought Twitter and he's been platforming far right voices on Twitter. I think when Kanye was on his crazy shit, he didn't even remove Kanye. He was trying to like talk him down or whatever. So it's just insane to me how they could sit there and just be so hypocritical. But we expect that from them and everything. But yeah, it was concerns all around with Graham Plattner. But the far right's definitely having a field day with this, but they have no room to speak at all on this matter.
On top of, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I do have a question to ask you guys, because I feel like this situation that we're in when it comes to Mr. Plattner, I feel like it's a living example of horseshoe theory, especially when I'm seeing videos of, I saw a couple videos of Democratic or voters or leftists, whatever you want to call them. I saw a couple videos of them being interviewed and essentially being asked like, hey, how do you feel about this? And a lot of them were saying it's interesting timing. It's interesting timing. And what it made me think
Oh
of,
my God. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And
Go ahead.
which sure it is, whatever it is. But it made me think of Republicans over the last 5, 6 years. How many incidents have we had where Republicans
Hmm.
make comments like that? So it made me think of horseshoe theory, and then it's got me thinking, what is the line between a candidate's character and potentially advancing the policies that you want advanced? Because as you guys
Mm,
know, I'm a huge Bernie stan. I love Bernie Sanders.
right.
But I'm starting to get the notion, as much as I hate to say this, I'm starting to get the notion that it seems like objectives are over morality.
Mm.
So
Mm.
where is the line, right?
I think the line is, I guess it depends on a person's values. Like obviously, all of most Democrats agree that allegations of rape are a bridge too far. But if we go, let's say he wasn't accused of that. Let's say like the allegations didn't come to light, and we were still grappling with the fact that this guy had a Nazi tattoo or whatever. I think what's the line to where you say, okay, I'm just not voting for this candidate. I think it always goes back to, okay, so who are you running against? And that's kind of where I'm at with it. But still, the rape thing is just bridge too far. If his opponent, the Republican one, is Susan Collins, and when you look at what she supported, I mean, I think I haven't looked at her voting record, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's 90% with what Trump wants most of the time. Every now and then she might break away, but it's very, very rare. She most of the time votes along with other Republicans. And so I guess looking at it from that perspective, if Graham Plattner was accused of those rape allegations, I've said it in chat, I would have still voted for him over Susan Collins, because I just think any MAGA Republican at this point is just a sellout to the country, in such a way that it's just ridiculous. Whereas, I mean, hey, Graham Plattner is going to sit in there and most likely vote at the very worst 80% with Democrats, or 85%, whereas Susan Collins won't vote at all. So it's a political calculus, but the red line is when we get into actual like crimes that they've committed. I think for me that's where my red line is at, like rape or any sort of sexual assault, or like if he was caught like smoking weed, I wouldn't care. Or
Right.
something like that, right? But when we're talking about real serious crimes, like he killed somebody or ran someone over or manslaughter, that sort of stuff, yeah, that's where my red line would be at, is some serious crime to where your morality is in question. And given the fact that he's basically kind of has the mentality, when you look at how he tried to hold the Democratic Party main hostage and say, hey, I'm not moving on until you pick who I want, the way he was saying in the video that Jamal watched or in the resignation letter, he has that mindset. So it tells me that that guy's moral character isn't right. But I would even go as far as to say, I know this sounds crazy, but he probably still has a better moral character than any Republican in the Senate at this point.
Probably.
But yeah, my red line is any sort of serious crime that's where my red line would be at for voting for someone versus a MAGA Republican. Now, it was like if maybe we were in the Bush era, it would be different and the Republicans weren't as cultish as they are now. It might, be a bit different, but right now it's just everything with how Republicans are. That's probably where my red line is at. Is what he was accused of, what he's done. It's like no, you go away. We're done.
Yeah. And if I'm being honest, as you guys know, the red line for me was the tattoo. But I do understand why that wasn't enough for a lot of people, considering what we're facing right now. Um, Jamal, did you or Jay? Who was Jamal? Jay, did you have anything
I
that you
don't
wanted to
I don't
add?
know this Jamal.
Yeah, me either.
So my takeaway, well, my in terms of red line, mine was also the Nazi tattoo. That's where I drew the line. But in terms of in terms of like just overall, I will say this: one thing the Democrats have over the Republicans is our ability to draw the line. And Graham Patler is not the first person we pushed out of not just candidacy, but actual Congress. There was a former United States Democratic senator that also got pushed out. I think it was like 5 years ago. So I will say this, at least for the Democrats, overall, considering how quickly we responded to the allegations and stuff to push this man out, I think we know where our middle ground is, and that's don't be a sexual assault, predator, and no fucking Nazi tattoos. I might be black.
That's
but shit,
crazy.
I'm still an American. We don't like Nazis.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a hard line.
Oh, go ahead, Jamal.
No, I'm done. You
Oh,
go.
okay. No, I was gonna say, just for clarity purpose, I wouldn't have voted for him in the primaries at all. After even before the Nazi tattoo, when it comes to the far left candidates, I'm like, no. If I could choose in a primary, I'm gonna choose the more center left position, not the far left. But in the general is what I was speaking towards. Is if he didn't have all the allegations and he still had the Nazi tattoos going up against Susan Collins, and I'm in Maine, I probably would vote for him, but it would be one of those hard things where, but after rape allegations, like, no, thank you. Just no.
Yeah.
Just to add one more thing before we move on. So I just want to point this out. Susan Collins hadn't said shit about Plattner from him winning the primary to heading into the general. That's a bad sign. That means she was not correcting him for making any mistakes. She had a plan, and that was probably to zero in on all this shit. Every single thing that's happened. She probably knew about all of this shit and was waiting. Anytime a Republican is concerned about someone, they start making plans early. They did it with Jasmine Crockett when she entered the Senate candidacy, which even without Latinos and white people, she almost fucking won. Had Ken Paxton never intervened, she probably would have won. And she would have been a problem, and she would have been a problem for both John Cornyn and Ken Paxton. She would have been a problem. They and when I reference that, I mean the Republicans were concerned about her. They weren't concerned about James Tallarico. Now they're concerned because James has course corrected and he's gone into earning those votes from the Black community in Texas. So he's course corrected, and now they're concerned.
Yeah.
They were not concerned about Plattner.
I think that's a good point of, well, if they had propped up a more moderate Democratic candidate in Maine, would they have done better against Susan Collins? I think there's polls out there that puts her, like Susan Collins, up against like the other, like Janet Mills or another, moderate Dem. And I think,
Go
ahead. Yeah, go ahead and correct me on that.
Well, I was gonna add that there were a bunch of polls recently that showed that she's now in more danger than she's ever been, because her plan was to take out Plattner. Her plan was to take out Plattner, and now she's gonna have to change everything because now he's not involved. He's not in. And look, I don't think it's gonna be easy in general. The Senate for Maine was winnable. Now it's a lot harder, even with a change of scenery. It just that person's gonna have to convince the rest of Plattner's crew to make a educated decision, whether that's them or it's not. But I think at least from what I read, I forgot the name of the poll. I did screenshot it, but I guess it didn't save to my phone. But Susan Collins is only polling at around 44% for pretty much anybody that's not Plattner.
I remember seeing a poll like that posted on Threads that I looked at, where I don't think she is winning her seat regardless of who they put up against her. I mean, I think she was planning on facing Graham Plattner for sure, but now she has to face some other, candidate that they're gonna have to find. And hopefully we win the seat. Like that's because we do need the Senate in order to expand the courts and do some other stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's vital. It is extremely vital. And speaking on James Tallarico, and the red line, and it fits into the whole what's our red line. It's just insane to me how they on Fox News and on right wing media, they're able to run with this Graham Plattner stuff about his allegations, him being a Nazi, when you literally got Ken Paxton, who I think it was pardoned or something he had did for someone
that
who
man
actually
one day
abused
in jail.
children. Like this man actually abused a child. This isn't allegations. This actually occurred. This actually happened, and he basically gave him, I wouldn't call it a slap on the wrist, and let him go.
Hey, that man
And
one day. One day,
that's
bro.
crazy. That's crazy. And then
One
on top
day,
of that, but on top of that, Kim Paxton was also impeached by the Texas legislature. I don't know if it was for that or it was for something else, but I do remember him being impeached. And remember, the Texas legislature is all like, these are the Republicans that literally just said in school that schools in Texas have to teach the Bible. That's how crazy far right they are. And these people said, "Nah, Kim Paxton's too crazy for us." So the fact, though, that he's so close to James Tallarico in the polls is just like, is there no red line for these guys? Like, if I was, if Graham Plattner was still on the ballot and everything, I would not vote for him at all in the general election after everything. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. It wouldn't feel right. So I guess this would be a rare instance where vote blue no matter who, asterisk marks, asterisks or whatever.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I mean, I'm serious.
I'm not hating either.
Yeah.
That's just the first. That just made my brain. I never thought I'd see the day. Graham Plattner, good job. Graham Plattner, good job. Good job.
I just can't. I can't in good conscience vote for someone who.
No, I agree. No, I
have
agree.
raped a woman. Like, yeah, I just can't do it. I can't do it.
And the tough part about this for me is, until this conversation, all I've been thinking about is the Democratic primary aspect of this. I have not been thinking about the fact that it has just made it all the more likely that a Republican holds another seat in our Congress, and that's the real loss.
Yeah.
Graham Plattner. Thanks.
And it's the campaign, and the people behind it who endorsed them and were behind. It's like, if they had just done a little bit more homework, they wouldn't have pushed them.
See, can I give a take that's probably going to surprise you guys?
Good.
And again, before I say this, you guys know I love Bernie. My love for Bernie has not changed. But
I know, that's why it's such an easy target.
But now it's to the point for me. And again, this is my own personal opinion, but I'm now starting to question if it was we didn't vet properly, or it was we crossed our fingers and hoped that certain stuff wouldn't come out. Because it's like, I don't know. I don't know what to think, because again, I shouldn't even have to be here, because the very basis of this is guy with totem however you say it's tattoo.
Yeah.
The very basis. And it's like, we're talking about people who are involved with the United States government. It's like, it's sounding like plausible deniability to me at this point. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm having a hard time believing that he wasn't properly vetted.
Yeah.
Especially, and actually, real quick, sorry, one more thing. And this is not a knock to veterans, but I know that he was doing some pretty hardcore shit back in the day. But I just have. Was he a part of the military, or was he part of a private group?
Contractor. He was Blackwater.
It was private. Yeah, Blackwater.
It was private. He was a private mercenary, essentially. I mean, might as well say. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
This is not a knock to people who put their lives on the line, but I have a hard time believing that you don't thoroughly vet a guy that went through that.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, when you
Yeah.
go through something like that, the odds of you having some stuff going on is even higher. So
Well,
I'm just having a hard time believing it.
yeah. Well, okay, to add some even more credence to your point, Evan. So he did have some lot of messed up shit. Specifically, he claimed he wanted to harm a bunch of brown people, and he enjoyed it.
I didn't
So
even
I
know
mean,
that.
so
I didn't know that either. I did not
I
know
only
that.
know about it because I checked, I saw it on Threads, and then I checked.
Oh
I
Lord.
did my own research. I did my own research, and I was like, oh, they vetted him. They did understand.
Jesus.
Vetting is both looking for red flags and at the same time, knowing about those red flags and just not doing anything about it. He was vetted. He was. They just figured he had the look to make it work, and he's attractive enough that people will vote with vibes, at least in a primary. So he
Yeah.
was vetted. He was vetted. They just didn't think this would be a big deal and a red line, in that just his populism would be enough to get him over the edge.
And to your point, I think all the people who look the other way need to be called out for it, and because the thing about
Oh, they are.
accountability is that
Oh, they are.
you have to learn how to realize when you have, well, egg on your face or you're eating crows. Like, yeah, I made a mistake. We shouldn't have, pushed this guy, whatever. But all along, everybody who had any issues with Graham Plattner, they were shut down. It's like, okay, you have a Blackwater mercenary type guy who has PTSD with allegations and a Nazi tattoo. What? So people rightfully had so many concerns, and it was brushed off as if it's like, oh, you guys are just, the establishment is just afraid of Graham Plattner passing Medicare for all. It's like, okay, Hakeem Jeffries pushes, expanding healthcare. What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. People. So it's just, I need those people to be held accountable, including your boy Hassan, because I know Hassan Dracham said he was done, after
I
the
don't know.
rape allegations. But
I'm telling you, that man got some PR, and he changed his tune fast as shit. That man said, nah, y'all fucking this up. We kind of need black people at this point. Y'all fucking this up.
but yeah, so my thing with that is, when people did have concerns, it's like, dude, if this was like a former IDF soldier with PTSD with the same with similar allegations, running as a moderate Dem for a senator or whatever, Hassan would be screaming from the rooftops that this guy is like Satan incarnate. So
Right.
it's just so that's my thing about being principled and everything. It's like, they do need to be called out for it, and they do need to say, hey, look, I was wrong. I shouldn't have dismissed so many people's concerns or complaints about Graham Plattner. And so that's what I need to see from them, and also a commitment to say, hey, look, we're going to vet them more properly. We're going to listen to more concerns, because we can't be given. First off, that's insane. I feel sorry for all the women that have been hurt by him in any sort of way. It's awful. I hope they get the peace that they need and whatnot. But at the same time, it's just like, yeah, he should have been actually looked into more than what they did on the surface level, because now we're giving all the Republicans all this free press about Graham Plattner, and now it's back to both sides the same for the general American public.
Well, I don't even know if that's true anymore, because like the general response from the public, at least from our party and even independents, was that man got to get out. He got to go. That was the immediate response. So I can't even say in good conscience, it's particularly a both sides thing. I think it's just a white leftist thing, and their lack of intersectionality. Fuck it, they'll be mad. Whatever, get over it.
They're coming for you.
Their inability to empathize first and then respond has been the biggest crux and the biggest issue. If you tiptoe around the gateways to democracy, which is typically taking care of Black people and other people of color in general, That is how America managed in the early 2000s all the way to where we're at now, to be at least the American center left and have progressive programs while being inherently a moderate country. That is how we got here, by tiptoeing around and trying to talk over the concerns of the most vulnerable is how you dismantle democracy. It's the quickest step, because
Yeah.
if you don't take care of Black people and people of color in general, that proxy means anybody that's white also will not be taken care of. They just won't know about it until it's too late.
Right. That's a
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
You said the key word there, white leftists.
fuck them.
It's it's very interesting, when I first, started on this journey, becoming more, left leaning, everything, becoming more progressive. it, I remember people saying, "Oh, gotta be careful about white people," all this sort of stuff when they're on the left. I'm like, "Oh no, I think they have our best interests at heart." And as we got, like I said, got closer to the 2024 election, it became more apparent that some, white leftists on the far left side of things really don't care that much about the concerns of minority groups like they should. Instead, what it is it's a performative purity. It's a purity test to basically feed whatever ego they have about themselves. It's an aesthetic that they want rather than an actual, actionable thing that they take. They don't view voting as being an action to ensure that people are taken care of. They view voting as upholding their moral purity or superiority over other people, and then using that to beat liberals and progressives over the head with.
Mm. Yeah, I kind of agree, but at the same time, I think by and large, it's all right. I'm about to mention your boy Evan. I'm sorry. That's the only way I can make this point valid.
Yes.
But I think it's similar to Bernie Sanders, where he believes he knows more than those that are the most affected by things, and it is one of the biggest issues I have had with populism, because populism often overlooks the importance of the personal experience of intersectionality. And that is the lived experience of us, Black people. We have a very specific way and pragmatic way we move, both in the government and in the world that we live in this country. And as a result, our thought process is much more nuanced, which is why often white leftists get so fucking mad. They cannot
Mhm.
empathize with something they don't experience. And as a
Yeah,
result, they
that
have
is true. Yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah,
Evan,
yeah, go ahead.
I guess you could clip this, because the end of this is what I'm gonna really stop at. But
Yeah.
the inability to respond with empathy before the need to talk about agenda is their biggest issue. It's why 2016 didn't work. It's why
Mhm.
2020 didn't work. And it's a large reason why they failed to canvass in such a way that affects state houses, uh, congressional seats, local districts. They failed to do that. You can talk about third party all you want, but the biggest issue with third party is it's not enough people's faces, and they lack the necessary focus to target where they can have the most influence, and that is
Yeah.
your state houses.
Yeah.
You cannot populism your way through racism, because racism came before classism. Classism is a byproduct of that. You want to dismantle that shit? You take it where it matters the most, and that's in your specific states. Build a coalition. If you got to go through the Democrats to do it, do that. But make sure you focus on the most important people. That's the largest voting bloc. Bernie
Yeah.
Sanders didn't
Yeah.
learn that lesson twice. It's a
Yeah.
And
shame, we keep talking about this, and it pisses me off, because I know that man has been in Congress for 35 years, no, longer than that. I think it's like
Yeah.
40
He's
years
been there a
now.
long time.
He has not passed any single bills. And I'm not talking about co-sponsorships or co-creation of something or slapping his name on shit. He's been there longer than damn near half of Congress. I'm not about to believe this man has my best interest at heart if he can't get standalone bills passed. You can't claim there's a partisan issue because Democrats vote 90% for progressive policies. No, brother, it's you. Fix your shit.
Yeah, and I
Straight
know
up.
you and
Facts.
we've we've went back and forth on this for a while now, but as you guys can probably tell at this point, given the things I've said today, I think I'm starting to see this. And ironically, what I was gonna say before you started, but I accidentally muted myself and I didn't realize it. After Chris's take, I was just gonna say or try to clean it up a little bit, but I guess I'm kind of taking a I guess I'm giving more grace, but I was just gonna say, I was gonna say that I think the lived experience factor is really important. And what I will say when it comes to white leftists, I think a lot of times there isn't malicious intent. I think a lot of times it's
Mm.
I think because they don't have the lived experience, these things aren't even on their radar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
No,
like
Yeah.
it's like
I
a
agree.
it's talking from a
Yeah.
place of privilege.
I could say most of them, yeah, they are talking from a place of privilege where it's not like maliciously to dismiss concerns or that Black people might have. I think it's just they don't have the ability to step into our shoes and think about what immediately impacts us in terms of legislation and policy. So for them, when it comes to voting, it's a different perspective and framework that they're working from. And Jamal's 100% right. It is that lived experience. They have not gone through the same things that we've gone through or seen the same things that we've experienced. So it just becomes a different, perspective to which they want to push for something that is more left leaning. That's why, the other day you said, oh, well, it was something you said about Hassan voting for, saying that I would have still voted for Graham Plattner in general if it wasn't for all these rape allegations that were coming up, and saying that Hassan was saying the same thing. Hassan was coming at it from a perspective of, oh, I don't like the billionaires. I need to tax them, Medicare for all this stuff, dismissing concerns. I'm coming from a point of, okay, I really don't like this guy. I don't want to vote for him in the primary. But if I have to choose between Susan Collins and someone like Graham Plattner, I would probably choose him without the rape stuff that's been going on and everything. And so I think that's the difference, is looking at it from a different perspective when it comes to white leftists versus Black liberals,
Yeah.
And a good we'll probably never be able to test this, but a good way to find out if there's truth behind what we're talking about would be if in a hypothetical world we got our free medical insurance. We got all the things that the far left is
Yeah,
currently screaming for. I'd be interested to see if we got those things,
I know where you're going.
what would happen with race relations. Like let's say the
Oh,
far left, let's say white far lefters just they overnight they just won in a sweep and they got the control to do whatever they wanted in the country.
mm,
I'd be curious to see how much things would actually change. Like, don't get me wrong, I know by proxy with free medical insurance that would help us. I know with more
right.
affordable housing that would help
Yeah.
us. But I'd
Mhm.
just be interested to see how much of that would trickle down to the poor areas that people don't like to talk about. Or
If
Black
far
areas, I
left,
should say.
if far leftists were like, if they were to sweep and have
Yeah,
control of the Senate and
yeah,
House, I mean, we would become a lot more left wing overnight, essentially, because especially have a president who's like progressive, like they're definitely going to want to pass that legislation. So we will see a very
yeah.
transformative. It would be a transformative experience. I think it would benefit, Black people, but I caution with, would they really solve our problems the way we need them to be solved specifically
Yeah,
for us? That's the caution. And it's
yes.
like, for instance, right? They talk a lot about, especially during 2020, BLM protests, about completely abolishing police. Okay. Which, okay, on its face, yes, police have some issues in any institution, department, whatever. I don't think every cop is bad. Whatever. I don't want to take money from them in a way of, oh, we're gonna have less police, which means people are less safe. I want better police training. I want more accountability. That sort of stuff I'd be all for. But let's say the far left goes the other way and they like gut, police institutions, and where, an entire, like my small area that I live in, let's say we don't have a police station anymore because they can't afford to, or because of the leftist policy there. Well, that means you might have some issues in poor Black neighborhoods where you might need police there to kind of help de-escalate situations or whatever. So I think that's the caution there is, the far left has to be very careful with what they want to accomplish and how they want to do it and how it will really impact poor people when it comes, and poor Black people when it comes to it. So yeah, you're right that, it would be, hopefully it'd be mostly good, but it's just a caution there,
Yeah, and that's essentially what I'm trying to say is, like, I wonder if they got the power they're looking for, and they made all these changes, and like in a world where, and then let's say Black people as a whole were still like, hey, we still need XYZ. I wonder if we'd see a point where they'd be like, hey y'all, we done did enough for y'all. Y'all sit down and be quiet. Things are fine. You know what I mean?
Oh
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying.
Oh,
Well,
I feel like some of them might be on that energy. Go ahead,
well,
Jamal.
there was
I mean, Jay.
there was a damn, just keep doxing me, nigga. All right. God
It's
damn.
hard.
No. Yeah, I know. I know.
Oh no.
No, but it reminds me of it was she was a former teacher. Now she talks about political content. She asked, she said, let's assume populism worked. Let's assume the far left got everything they wanted, but then they got posed by a Black person that said, hey, yeah, we have Medicare for all, but Black women are still dying at a much higher rate than white women.
Mm,
Or
This is
or
good nuance. Yeah.
or a
yeah.
Hispanic woman who going into labor, but the hospitals are not taking her seriously enough because for some reason, they're paying attention to the white woman who also is giving labor a lot more. Whether it's intentional or not, that is racism. The inability to care and have that empathy enough to go, well, shit,
Mhm.
regardless on what I'm doing, this person needs my help.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
my first response was to ignore her.
Oh, I gotta
Yeah,
go eat right quick. I'll be right back.
Oh,
for
go
sure.
ahead. So I mean, that is a real question, and it's a question that still would happen for no other reason than the fact that, like I said, you can't populism your way through racism.
Right.
It's not always violent. Racism is not always violent. In fact, the most racist people I have ever had the displeasure of meeting was in the state office, and they met me with a smile on my face and a handshake.
Yeah.
So it's it's not as it's not as simple as it is for well, no, it's not as black and white because racism is not just violent and overt.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's quiet.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's some of the most dangerous racism, what you just touched on.
Absolutely.
The person that blends in.
Hmm.
Um Seeing now Chris walked away, so I gotta suspend what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the Rokana thing next.
Oh yeah, yeah. I kind of
Um,
want to talk about that as well.
but I really need him to be here
I
for
know
that
because he
one.
has a particular interest.
I, I'm interested to see where the
Yeah,
conversation
I
goes.
know. I
You
saw
know?
when I saw it on the news, I was like, "Oh, this is about to be talked about."
And actually, I mean, we just talked about, I mean, we were on Graham Plattner for like 40 minutes. So I
Yeah,
guess we can start the conversation on Rokana. But so this is what I want to say. And you may have, because me and Chris, or me and Chris, we went back and forth a little bit in the chat today
yeah,
and
I saw that.
last night about the Israel Palestine situation. And I'm like I said in the chat, I'm now to the point where I am officially done with the buzzword catchphrases. I'm
Yeah,
on the both ends.
yeah,
I'm done with it. So it's like
no,
I want to try to have this conversation without even going there. And this is me. This is I'm kind of putting my American hat on now.
yeah,
Um, I have, and I'm gonna have to add a little bit of nuance to this. I have a serious issue with American representatives being
yeah,
treated in the way that that person was treated. I
yeah,
I I have a serious issue with that. Now, I'm gonna give a little bit of grace here.
yeah.
I'm gonna give a little bit of grace in two ways. Way number one, was that a conflict that Ro Khanna was looking for? Maybe.
I have my own theories as well on that one.
And number two, did the IDF just were they just
Targeting.
going were they or well I'm still giving grace here. Were they just going through the motions or like a vetting process?
Uh, so from what I read, it was he deliberately stepped over a bunch of the protocols to get there,
Yeah.
and they responded accordingly. That being said, the sight of seeing them do that to a United States representative in itself is still, as an American, that is a red flag for me because I feel like as Americans, we've seen that shit before. We've
Yes.
seen that shit before. So we identify with, uh, I don't want to say terrorist, but a very questionable group
Yeah.
meeting congressional representatives with guns, regardless of what he did. It's a red flag, and it's a
Yeah.
hard red flag because it's like, nah, we've seen that shit before, and we've seen how this shit goes. That can't happen again.
Yeah. And then two, even if it started out as protocol, if what he's saying is true, and once he identified himself to them and told him who he is,
And
if
they
what
still,
he's yes, and then they proceeded to act the way because he was saying that he told himself who he was to these settlers, and
yeah,
then the IDF got there, and then they were on the side of the settlers. And then
yeah,
I'm looking at the news over here, and the statement that Israel gave on it is they're just trying to say, oh, we were told that the road was being blocked. The IDF showed up and cleared the blockage, and that was it. That's what Israel's saying on it. Rokana
yeah.
is saying a completely different thing.
On top of that, we have too many sources that tell us that showed us that, and you can see it for yourself. It's still there. The video is still swirling around social media. We can see like, nah, what they say is not what we saw, and it's not
Yeah.
what's happening. Like we can
And,
see that. We have eyes, you know.
yeah, and that's the thing. And again, this is at this point, this conversation that we're having, I'm coming from a place that's completely separate of Israel versus Palestine. I'm not even on that
Yeah,
right now. I
yeah,
am
no,
I am I am strictly talking about a a confrontation between a United States official and the IDF and our biggest ally, right?
yeah.
Um and I
Well,
and this
our
is the
biggest
thing,
ally thought what was Canada, but
right?
that's gonna take a
Yeah,
minute to
that's
repair. That's gonna take a
but
minute. But yeah,
it's like
but I agree. I kind of agree with where you're heading. I don't want to interrupt you. Keep on.
oh yeah, no, it's I was shit, what was I gonna say? I just lost it.
You're all right.
So you go ahead. It's
I
all
was
right.
just gonna say. I was just gonna say that is a towing a certain line that I hate to sound like a oh you damn Americans. No, fuck that.
Yeah.
That is a red line in which I'm not comfortable with as well. Because like I said, even as people in our 30s, as millennials, we've seen that shit before.
Yeah.
We've seen that shit before, and we know what happens with that shit. So no, we're not comfortable with that, and that is a red flag, and that's something that needs to be handled. Because even if he did break all those protocols, he still identified, hey, I'm a United States official. What are you doing?
Yeah.
He
And it's
identified already. He told you what was going on, and their
yeah,
response still was, "Oh, we're gonna do it anyway." No,
yeah. It's all the way he's describing it, it's almost like it incentivized them to like I'm
yeah,
trying to
go
think of the
harder.
right word. Yeah, that yeah, like it so I don't, and again, we can take Israel out of this equation. It
Yeah,
might like it doesn't matter if it's America, France, Canada, Great Britain, no matter whatever two countries you want to use, a situation like this happening between two allies,
yeah.
it's
That's
not good. And
no.
if this was 100 years ago, around World War I time, that
Oh,
very
baby,
well
it
that could have
was
caused.
shit.
Yeah, so I I guess what's not sitting well with me is that this it's just business as normal. I mean, don't get
Yeah,
me wrong, people are talking about this, people are pissed off, but it's just like, okay, yeah, Israel did that, so now anyway. And again, like, what if we reverse it? What if that was Rubio? I mean, this
yeah.
would have never happened to them, but what if that was Rubio? What if that was Vance? Like, would
Oh yeah,
so it that because that's another aspect of it too. It's like, all right, it was a brown Democrat, so like, is that does that make? And that's one thing that doesn't sit well with me is the fact that we are living in a time. I mean, it's always been this way, but I thought we got away from it. But we're living in a time where who a person is determines the narrative and how much people care.
yeah. Well, I think, well, to be real honest with you, there's enough problems going on with even the cozy relationship with Vance and Trump, enough to, at the very least spur even just a farce type of this can't happen again type of response.
Yeah.
There's enough, and I predict there will be a response. Maybe not violent, but there'll be some concessions that are going to have to be made by this response. But as you said, it's almost as if depending on how you look, you get treated differently.
Yeah.
Now, on threads, it's a different story. People are raising hell, even amongst like political influencers. They're like, "Nah, this can't happen. This cannot be something we just sidestep." If this was back in '08, if this was back in '08, there'd been a immediate response.
Yeah.
'08 is not that long time ago. That's not a long time. It's maybe a decade, but like that's not a
Yeah.
fucking long time.
And
Uh,
and
yeah,
and also too, when it comes to a part of the issue is the current administration that we're under, they only support one half of the government. And
yeah,
my issue with that is regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, when it comes to us as a whole in
yeah.
regard to international affairs, we should
Because
be
that's still an
aligned.
American. Yeah, that's still
And
an
yeah,
American.
and even morals aside, right? If you're not backing your team, your
Yeah,
opposition is going to look at you as weak.
yeah,
It's so
absolutely.
you can look at it for it's not even me trying to take some moral high ground or anything like that. This is simply just strategy,
Yeah,
you
this
know.
is this is essentially saying, well, shit. How far can we push? Americans. How far can we? Like this is a United States official. How far can we push them? That's what
Yeah.
this is. This is seeing how far they can poke. And I'm gonna be real with you. Uh, if they get away with this, what happens when what happens when it's like you said? What happens when it's the Secretary of State?
Yeah.
What what do they do to him? If him if Ro Khanna acknowledging who he is as an American official spurred even more potential aggressive behavior, what happens when the Secretary of State shows up and says, oh, look, this is a misunderstanding. I'm the Secretary of State for the United States. You have to go ahead and let me through. You have to let me through. And they say no and respond with even more aggressive behavior. Uh, that's a that's a quick way to get things popping. And
Yeah.
in the worst possible way. I
Yeah.
don't mean to sound so jovial about it. I'm not. It's just that's how things are gonna go. So no, this can't happen.
Yeah. And I guess we can pause this until, or pause that conversation until he returns. But
Hmm.
the next thing I had today, um this is ugh, this never ending revolving door of ceasefire, no ceasefire, no. So I
Hmm.
guess I guess where we're at now is we're still talking with Iran, but the ceasefire is over.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Um after new strikes on US sites in Bahrain, Kuwait, Iran's negotiator said Tehran is ready for an all-out defense if the US betrays last month's MOU. So it's like, at what are we doing? What's the end game? What's the, I at this point, the Iran situation, I don't even know what to make of it at this point. I honestly,
Uh,
I've honestly really, I stopped following it a couple months ago for the most part,
uh,
because I
yeah, I also kind of stopped. Not because I don't care, but because uh, the sheer incompetence of like this administration to simply, don't fix things that ain't broke is how we got here. And it seems like, well, at least for Iran, if I'm them, we have never been in a more better position than we are right now, because we can get all of what we want because the current administration lacks the ability to play hardball with us.
yeah.
And you know, and if they don't get what they want, this incompetent administration is uh they're like, we're going to respond with force. No, don't get me wrong, America is heavily armed and everything in between, but I don't want to send my soldiers back out when they don't need to be.
Right.
They don't
And
need to be here.
and this is a topic for me where it's like, and again, I find myself saying this every day, and this is coming from someone who was a former brain dead centrist who didn't know what he was talking about. But like, I don't understand how anyone who is even mildly informed on the topic can look at a situation like Iran right now and say, "Ah, yeah, Trump's still my guy." If you like, just looking, you watch this man since the year of, I don't know, 2014, blast Obama's Iran deal on the
Hmm.
internet. He did it for the last 10 years. He did it in the election. He did it after the election. It said verbatim, Obama, he dropped off, what do you say, cases whatever, of cash.
Yeah.
How do you look at a guy who talked like that and behaved like that for so long? You then see him get into the position. He offered them more money. He's just blown up the entire shit. He's made it
Oh
objectively
yeah.
worse. I don't understand how someone can look at that and say, no contradictions here. This is my guy. Fuck Obama. I don't understand.
A lot of it's, well, I hate regurgitating what I said like months ago. It's cult behavior. Often cults, when they're given, objective truth, they often just like reinforce their beliefs for no other reason than all they have left is the lie that is being told to them in order to keep them from looking like just as just as worse, uh or just having to come to the point of, I was wrong, I'm on the wrong side of things. Yeah, a lot of people just double down.
And I know it's that. I've said this to you guys a couple times. I always say, whether it's politics, whether we're arguing about Drake and Kendrick Lamar, whether we're arguing our favorite athletes or our favorite sports teams, at the end of the day, people don't want to be wrong, and I understand that. But it's like, no one has a gun to your head. You're not going to lose anything.
Yeah.
I, at one point in my life, I developed the most important skill that I've ever developed. And what that is the ability to be wrong and change my mind. You guys have
Yeah.
seen me exercise this
Yes.
I don't know how many times. And I just I don't understand why something that being wrong about Donald Trump, it's not going to end your life.
If anything, it'll help you see through the lies even better. Break that cognitive, disability you have. Break it.
And
Worst thing, the worst thing, you'll probably get some flack and probably, have to deal with the fact that not many people are going to be forgiving given the circumstance of things. But at the very least, you can take solace in the fact that, look, I'm no longer associated with somebody who has destroyed and fractured the country in such a way where the new normal is probably people seeing us as monsters.
yeah, but the thing that floors me is like you're in a time as a Republican or a conservative, moderate, whatever a person on the right wants to call themselves. You are in a time where you have the perfect out. You can say, I was deceived. I'm still a Republican. Look, I'm a Romney guy. Like you have the perfect out. You
Oh
can
yeah.
still be a Republican because this administration is so far gone.
Oh
You can
yeah.
be a 2008 Republican. It's okay. Like you have an out.
Hey, you could be a Bush Republican. At least Bush understood not being hostile to his actual citizens was a recipe for disaster. At
Eh,
least Bush, at least Bush understood. Let me not be hostile and let me not cause unnecessary harm to my own citizens. That's not to say Bush was much better because during the Afghanistan war he tried to stop elections, but. Uh, at least, at the very least, Bush still had the wherewithal to put it into, not put it in. He had it in, he had a wherewithal to like understand this ain't working. I'm not a monster, or I'm wrong, and I've caused undue harm, but I'm not a fucking monster. This
yeah.
I wouldn't even call this Republicans anymore. I wouldn't even call it Republicans anymore because they aren't Republicans. What are you conserving?
Yeah.
You've destroyed everything. And you've put your own citizens in harm's way.
And actually you just reminded me of something by saying that government. Did you see what I sent um earlier about the gas stations?
No, but if I click out of this,
I'm
it's gonna
pulling it
kick me
up.
out. Yeah, all right.
I want to make sure before I say it, I want to make sure that okay, hold on. I'm making sure that I wasn't misled by social media before I bring this up. So
If
the
you ever
Trump
if you ever want to double check your sources, I would download Grounded News. They have a free plan as well, and it's broken down in such a way where you can understand. And if you want a further introspection on like what's happening, you can always click the full article in the app, which it provides, and it's not paywall to my knowledge. So
yeah,
uh,
and I
you can use that. I recommended it to Chris. I'm not sure if he uses it or not, but that's what I've been using because they're relatively right in the center. They cover conservative news, they cover left leaning news, and then they cover the center.
yeah, I've been meaning to sign up. I've been thinking about that for a while. Not that one specifically, but I've wanted to sign up for a but I was misled. The
Yeah.
post that I saw on Facebook, it's the
Hmm.
Trump-backed Freedom Fuel Network gas stations.
Hmm.
The post that I saw on Facebook, it framed it as if it was going to be this like government-owned entity, but it turns out it's private and it's Trump-backed. So essentially what it means is
Oh,
Trump privately making
Jesus.
more money. So it's
Oh
not a
yeah.
my God.
it's not a communist thing. So I was deceived.
Yeah.
But Chris, before I forget, and me and
Yo.
Jamal, we touched on this a little bit while you were gone, but we wanted to save this one for your return.
Mm.
Um Rokana. Now, before we do this,
Okay. Right,
I
right,
want to
right.
remind you,
Yeah,
This is not about Israel Palestine.
I know.
Like I told you earlier, and I said this to Jamal before we talked about it just now. I'm done with the buzzword catchphrases. I'm of the what we talked about earlier. At this
Yeah,
point,
yeah.
we know the stance to have, and we don't even need to say it to exhaustion. Anything beyond
Oh
that
yeah,
is just.
yeah.
But with that being
Absolutely.
said, when it comes to the Rokana situation, well,
Hmm.
I'm just strictly talking about how a U.S. ally treated a United States official. So we're coming at it from that point. We're not
Yeah,
doing
100. Yeah,
that. So where are you at with that?
I think that was absolutely insane that they would like stop a moving. I don't know, it was a caravan. Stop their car and act like they were doing something that was so wrong. And the fact that dude had to be like, "Hey, I'm a U.S. Congress member, whatever," and they still wouldn't let him pass was insane. I did. There was Reuters had an article on it. I didn't read all of it. My bad. Should have read all of it. But it did say that they were stopped, okay, and Rokana had to basically, tell them, "Hey, I'm a U.S. congressman." They got the Israel police, which separate entities from because these were Israeli settlers. These are like the crazy, like far. These are like MAGA people in Israel. Essentially,
Yeah.
from what I've gathered, they're like very. They can be violent, so they're like very violent far right Israeli people in Israel. Okay, so the Israeli police came, separate entity, and told them, "Hey, look, they can pass through or whatever, or leave them alone or whatnot." I don't think they detained them. I think they stopped them. Like they stopped them in the road or where they were at for like an hour, hour and a half, something like that. I think that's what the article had said that Reuters had up. And so yeah, the Israeli police like, dude, let these people go. They went about their way. I think that's absolutely awful. That in actual like you said, U.S. ally would treat one of our sitting Congress members like this, uh, when they weren't even doing anything wrong or anything. They were just going on the road is absolutely insane, and it just speaks to, I guess, the far right problem that is in Israel, uh, going on with how the tension, conflict, all that. But yeah, I think that's awful. I think it's absolutely awful. I don't know, what will be done about it. But I do know Rokana will probably talk more about what the next steps are, how he felt about it, and he might have already posted a little bit about it. But yeah, I think that's awful. I think it's awful.
Yeah, and a couple things.
Those people are crazy. Those people are absolutely out of their minds.
And one thing that I learned today, and I actually learned this from Hassan, but an interesting tidbit, believe it or not, about 60,000 of the Israeli settlers are Americans. Well, not,
That makes
I
sense.
should say
Really?
of settler. Yeah, 60,000 or
Oh, okay.
15% of the settler population are Americans in the West Bank and
Are they
eastern
like American
Jerusalem.
Jews? Are they like
I
American
am
Jews, or just actual like Americans that were born here, went over to Israel and claimed some land or whatever? Or are they like, okay, they're Jewish here, but they want to move over there, and that's the situation?
I imagine that they're American born. Let's see.
Are you looking it up
Yeah,
too?
virtually, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Cuz
I'll let you look it up. Go ahead.
like I told, I went to the high school I went to, it was a very Jewish area. So like I know
Hmm.
a lot of Jewish like, don't you automatically have citizenship?
I'm
I
pretty sure.
think
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure.
they kind of do. Yeah, I'm not
But
sure.
but yeah, the
Um,
majority of them are.
I thought
Um
so.
Huh.
but yeah, and also what I said to Jamal when I brought this up is two things. I'm giving a little bit of grace to the opposition when I say this, but one, I do wonder if this is a confrontation that Rokana was looking for. That is one. I have,
Hmm.
again, that's just a question. I'm not saying that happened or that is the case. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, and
And
I gave
then
my theories already.
two,
Ah.
um I do imagine that a portion of it may have been standard protocol, but at the end of the day, if what
Mm,
Rokana is saying in regard to how they treated him after he identified himself, that's insane. Because
mhm.
it seems like he told them, because I listened to him talk about it a little bit.
Good. Yeah, yeah.
It seems like he told them who he was, and that just led them to antagonize him more. And I was reading up on it a little bit.
Ah,
Yeah, and I was reading up on it a little bit, and it looks like the what Israel had to say about it is, oh, we just received a call that the road was blocked. We dispatched IDF, they cleared the road, that's it. That's what they're saying about it. But his stance is,
so they're not mentioning about the cellular part about it. That on Israel's side, they haven't mentioned too much
they
about. Uh,
they said that they did not back them. Let me double check myself,
oh,
but I'm
okay.
pretty
Yeah,
sure that's what
I
I
think
read.
that's correct. I think that's what the Reuters article said too. That they didn't back them, and that it was a misunderstanding, something like that. But I
But
still think the way that the sellers treated him, and I think they 100% knew who he was. I think they
yeah,
know that he's hardcore anti is not hardcore, but he's not like, oh my god, dismantle Israel, but he's called it a genocide, all that stuff. And to them, that is like the main trigger. I'm trying to think what the leftist equivalent will be if you're talking to like a MAGA person. Oh yeah, if you said that Trump is like in the Epstein files or did this, that, and third, they just lose they lose their shit. So I think that's kind of the comparison there. So yeah.
okay, I gotta slightly correct myself, but I was just a little bit off. It
Mm-hmm.
says the Israeli military said it had received a report of Israeli civilians unlawfully blocking the vehicles of foreign nationals and
Mm.
members of the news media near the
Mm.
village on
Okay.
Wednesday. Troops
Yeah.
were dispatched and reopened the road. The spokesperson said the military disputed that its soldiers had participated in blocking the exit and said that the identity of the armed civilian was being reviewed. So that's not
Oh,
really what Rokana is saying. Rokana, he's saying that the IDF showed up and
I
they were
got
on the
you.
side of the settlers. That's what he's saying. And
Right.
the
So
last thing I got to say on it is based on what we have seen of IDF behavior, I, how can I really believe how can I believe the
oh
official
no,
statement?
that is definitely understandable. So the
Yeah.
official reporting is that they were just standard protocol, blocking the roads and everything, and there was a crazy civilian that with a gun who was antagonizing Rokana. Rokana's account is that the IDF were on the side of the settlers. The Israeli police came by and kind of cleared up the misunderstanding, and they were allowed to proceed. That's my read on it.
Yeah. So yeah, we're all on the same page with that one. And then we just moved on to talking about how it is absolutely absurd that anyone who has watched how Donald Trump has talked about
Mm.
Iran since 2014 is still defending him,
Oh my
given
god.
how he is behaving in Iran. Because for all these years, he talked about how horribly Obama handled everything, and then he's doing objectively
Worse.
worse.
Absolutely
He,
worse. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
he was the original. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you. I just want to point this out. He was the original birthright citizen thing for Obama. He started that shit.
oh yeah, he did. He
Oh yeah, go ahead.
he was the one who started the whole birther thing with Obama and everything. And to this day, I would love to put out a poll to see how many Republicans still believe that Obama wasn't born here and is a Muslim, because I think some of them still think he's both of those things. But anyway, when it comes to Donald Trump and the wars, he said before when he was running that he would be the president of no new wars. He said that he'd end the conflict in Ukraine on day one. He said he'd find peace between Israel and Palestine day one. All this stuff. He didn't say anything about bombing Iran, to be fair. Like, he didn't say anything about that. But all of a sudden, now we have to bomb. The crazy thing about it is that it was about the not them not getting a nuclear bomb, and we bombed them last year to destroy their nuclear facility allegedly, and then we got intelligence reports this year saying that, hey, look, they're not building a bomb. Okay, they're not. We don't think they're. And then all of a sudden, Trump comes up and says, "Yeah, they're 2 weeks from building a bomb. We gotta do something about it." It's like, well, your intelligence is saying there's no evidence of it, and you're saying that they're 2 weeks from it. So it's just it just like he's cooked this idea up in his head, which I guess leads me to think like, what was his reasoning for doing this? And Evan, you've talked about it before. You think it was for the oil. You think it was to drive up stock prices, everything. And that
I
is
thought
a
it was
fair
for the
point to them.
uranium.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't for you. I don't think it was uranium. Trump, on the face of it, says it's to stop them from making a nuclear bomb. Evan thinks it was just to get oil or whatever. Of course, that's
Yeah.
the
No,
biggest.
the
Or the
my main
petrodollar
thing
up.
was the stock market manipulation.
Right,
Oh,
with
yeah.
the
Okay,
petrodollar
that
and
makes
everything.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, and that's the crazy thing is that he really. I'm at it where I'm at with it. I think what happened was that Benjamin Netanyahu called him up and said, "Hey, we're gonna bomb Iran," because they shot. I think they shot at them first. I think Israel shot at them first, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when it first started, Israel did something, and then we did something right after them to Iran.
Let's see.
And so
it says the response I got was the U.S. and Israel initiated direct hostilities against
okay,
Iran
so
on February 28th. It was
all right. So it was
coordinated.
February. Jesus Christ.
It was a
Jesus.
coordinated 900 airstrikes.
Yeah, I thought
Right.
so. I'm pretty sure I read that.
Yeah. So the thing of it is, it's so hard to pinpoint what his true objective is, because even if you go back to the Obama years, you had intelligence telling the Obama administration that, look, if we attack Iran in any way, they're going to close the Strait of Hormuz, and that will cause a global, economic crisis potentially. Do not do that. We can sanction them. All right. We can attack their proxies, like the terrorist groups that they fund, but we cannot directly hit them with missiles. Otherwise, it's going to hurt us as well. And then we'll have to work out a deal. That's why, Obama probably came up with the whole nuclear deal, because it's like, this is a better pathway than us just, strong arming them into surrendering. And at one point they said it was for regime change. But like, dude, they have like all the guys lined up. Like the guy's son, the Ayatollah's son, is now the supreme leader, and he's doing the same thing his dad did, and now he's going to live a really long time to continue doing the same thing that Iran's been doing for decades. So it just doesn't. It's like I really struggle to understand. Like, I get all the people like Marco Rubio and Vance have been kind of sucked into this whole scheme. But when it comes to Trump, I really don't know what his motives are. It's like I don't know. He's too crazy and unpredictable to really think logically. Okay, what was your I'm pretty sure his reasoning has changed over time, but that's like I don't know. I don't know like why he did it, and why he keeps doing it. It's beyond me, because the guy is just out of his head. Maybe you guys have answers or ideas.
The quick and short thing that I can say is maybe it's as simple as we got done what we got done in Venezuela, and he was high on himself, and maybe he thought he could that. I don't know.
See, I know. I feel the same way, and that could be a point where he was like, "Yeah, we were able to get the leader of Venezuela out of there." I don't know where that guy is at. I have no idea where that guy is at, and that's concerning. But yeah, maybe they thought they could just outpower or overwhelm the Iranian military. But the thing of it is, they control a really important global economic source, which is oil, a resource, and they have the means of transportation to get that oil to where it needs to go under their control. So it's like, don't bomb them, or it's gonna. And now it's close. People don't know this, but we're running out of oil. Like, our strategic reserves are getting lower and lower.
They used it all up.
Did they? I thought there was. I saw a chart. I saw a chart, and I know it was going down, obviously. But did they use it all up already?
Well,
I don't think they've used it.
I don't know, because the more I see the losses and the more I see what's happening, the more I'm starting to get the assumption that they've used up all the emergency oil, all the emergency reserves that we have,
Yeah.
or at the very least, we're running on empty.
Yeah, it's looking. I don't think people understand just how bad it's getting. And it's like 1 minute he says we have a deal, then next minute we're going to destroy their infrastructure. Next minute we have a deal. Next minute we're going to destroy their infrastructure. So it's like at this point, if I'm like the Ayatollah, if I'm the supreme leader of Iran, I'm not taking anything he says seriously. Like,
Hell
why
yeah.
would you? Well, like, and they have all the leverage. I mean,
Like I said-
literally. They can get whatever they want from the U.S. government at this point.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
Well, we
Go
saw
ahead.
the original deal. We saw the original deal, right? They got everything
Yes.
they wanted. They, in fact, they came out of that deal better than they did going in. They
Yeah.
came
That's
out
crazy.
better than they went in. So, like I said, I'm of the opinion that they either used up the reserves or we're running on empty. I also think him firing all the marshals and all the qualified soldiers that were going to be leading up for the promotions, because Pete Hegseth doesn't like black people or women.
Jesus.
This is the consequence. You put a bunch of yes men unqualified in the position of power, and they make rash decisions that ends up screwing everybody else. By the time this is over, they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Or at the very least, they've been stripped of their positions of power, and we have to deal with what's left over.
And two things. We're not running out of domestic geological oil reserves, obviously,
Yeah.
but you are
Yeah.
right. We are facing a severe depletion of our emergency strategic petroleum reserve.
Yeah, I
And
thought
it is
so.
driven
Yeah,
by
yeah.
the ongoing conflict with Iran
Mm-hmm.
and the closure of the Strait.
Yep.
We've been rapidly draining our stockpiles. As of June 26, it's the lowest it's been since 1983. And that
Yeah.
number is 340 million barrels.
Yeah, I thought so.
The crazy thing about that is they still, at one point when someone brought this concern up, they tried blaming Biden for not filling up the oil reserves when he left office. I'm like, what?
It's not, and that's not how that works.
Yeah.
So
It takes
stupid.
decades to
Yeah.
to refine
Yeah.
it. Not even just to refine. It takes decades to build.
Drill. Yeah, to
Yeah,
build
like-
the infrastructure. Yeah.
If they started this shit today, like in mass, it wouldn't be done until we're of retirement age, or maybe
Yeah.
even after.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Like, you can't put that on Biden. It doesn't work like when people talk about the Keystone Pipeline thing, and they're like, "Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
why
God.
that's why
Jesus
gas
Christ.
is so high." No,
Oh
the fuck
my
it isn't.
God. They use
We-
that anytime. Go ahead.
No, that's it. It's crazy. That's it. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, it is. Like, they use that whole Keystone Pipeline thing to attack Biden over. Oh, he also cut jobs like Doe shit, and also, well, he's the one who ruined our supply of oil because we could have had the key. It's like, what? I mean, I'm pretty sure during Biden's administration, we were still, getting a lot of oil. We're still refining, drilling, do a lot of that stuff. But he was also investing in, clean energy because, and this speaks to a perfect point. Maybe the U.S. needs to move more towards those renewable energy sources, move more towards solar, move more towards wind energy. And so that way we're not relying on one region of the world for our energy dependence. And I don't know why Republicans still don't see that. And they're sitting there, let Trump get away with saying beautiful, clean coal. Like, what are you like? It's
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say,
It's
no,
insane.
they see it. They see it, but a lot of their donors are specifically in fossil fuels and stuff. They can't give it up. They not without a fight anyway, but they're tied to their donors. They're not gonna vote for that. They'll vote against it.
I think Republicans definitely, some of them are tied to their donors, but I also think some of them legitimately believe that coal and oil are better sources of energy than wind and solar. I think Trump legitimately believes that. I
Trump
just think
might.
he's that stupid. I just think he's that stupid to where he literally probably believes, yeah, the world's gonna move back to good old children working in the coal mines to fill up
Well, hey,
the rich people's pockets.
well, hey, you heard from one of the farmers back when the farmers started running out of money.
Jesus.
Yeah, I thought all the black people would return, brother. You gonna have to kill me to make me work in the field.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah, the farmers should have learned the lesson the first time when Trump came into office. I remember the soybean farmers got hit with tariffs, and the government had to bail them out. And then guess what? They got hit with tariffs this term, and guess what? The government did? Bailed them out. It's like, so don't you not see the fact that and these farmers vote en masse for Trump? So it's like, so you're just voting to hurt yourself and everybody else, and they're going to get a short term boost with whatever bailout you're getting. But then if you elect the same people, they're just going to keep slapping tariffs on you. It's just like it's a cycle, and they just can't get out of it because they think trans people are and undocumented immigrants are the reason why our country is going the way it's going.
And it's also the fact that like it's basically like you said, for them they consider this like a football team. Well, if I voted for a Democrat, I'm portraying myself as a lifelong Republican.
Yes.
Brother, the Republicans don't like you. They just take credit for anytime a Democrat's in office and they pass a bunch of positive pieces of legislation. That's what the Republicans have done for the past 10 years. That's all they've done.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself, thinking too hard. But shit, maybe, just maybe, the Republicans do not have your interest at heart and never have.
No, they haven't. And that's the crazy part. Like with undocumented immigrants, they really like the whole SCOTUS ruling on birthright citizenship. It could have gone another way. It was very close to us like completely rewriting our constitution. And remind you, Supreme Court's not supposed to like rewrite our constitution. That's just That's insane to think about. It should have been a 9-0 open shut case, and it wasn't.
Absolutely.
That just and it's funny that the minority person that is on that panel voted, of course, against it. It's like, brother, do you not understand what you look like? And he doesn't. But yeah,
I don't think Clarence Thomas cares. I'm pretty sure for him, he believes he will always be an exception. I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah.
The moment you are on death's bed, all that shit is gonna come get you.
I hope every bit of it comes get them.
That credit card that they
just
gave
came
you,
out.
that credit card that you got. Listen, baby. Listen, Thomas. That shit gonna hurt you. That shit gonna hurt you.
It will, and I hope it does, because he's rolled back so many rights that have benefited Black people, but I'm pretty sure it benefited him as well. And he's going to sit there and try and close every single one of those doors. Like, brother, it doesn't even begin to make sense. Like, he is literally more extreme than like Amy lady that's on the SCOTUS that was appointed by. Yes, she was appointed by Trump. She's a Trump judge. The fact he has 3 is crazy, by the way. But she voted to uphold birthright citizenship, and the attacks that she got just for like literally just upholding what our Constitution says. And I've read the 14th Amendment in the section 1 of it where it talks about birthright citizenship. There's no way to like find other context to make it to where it's only talking about Black people. It is not. It literally says any person born here is a citizen. This is plain as that. Like I feel like
on top of that, it's like on top of that, it's like shit. How do you enforce that shit? How do you enforce that? Because damn near everybody born in this country, anybody born in this country would be up for questioning. How do you enforce that? That's economically crushing the United States in such a way that it doesn't recover. It's just not enough. First of all, it's not enough white people to do it. Second of all, like I said, there's no real way of enforcing that. None.
It would be a pain, but I feel like Stephen Miller would spend every every dollar he has to ensure another immigrant isn't born on American soil. Because what he said was this man literally tweeted out to the entire world that they're going to take these like ships of like hundreds of pregnant women and bring them into the U.S. territory near our coast, have them give birth, and then give them over to the U.S. And they're going to keep repeating that process as some sort of invasion. Or well, he thinks it's some sort of invasion plot where, brown people are going to take over white people, and that's what it is. That I realized for people like Stephen Miller specifically and others like him, it really is this fear that white people will become the minority, and once they are the minority, then however they've treated other minorities like black people and brown people, we're going to treat them the same way, and that's what they're afraid of. It's literally just this fear. It's the white replacement theory. They always refer to Biden's immigration policy as being an invasion, when literally it was just Biden following the law. It was everybody was just following the law, whatever the immigration policy is at the time. It wasn't some concerted effort by the Democrats to let. They think it's like 20 million came in here and take over our elections. I even remember looking up, well, how many undocumented immigrants may have accidentally voted in the past couple elections, and I think it came up like 1,700, not 1,700. I think that was the total like fraud cases, but I think it was a really, really it's such a small percentage, such a small amount that thinking that immigrants, undocumented immigrants, are the ones that are voting illegally in our elections in these huge numbers. That they're the ones that are driving up the cost of housing and groceries. It just doesn't begin to make sense. They pay more into our taxes, into our tax base, than they ever see out of it. So it's just ridiculous that they put all of their problems on this one boogeyman, which is undocumented immigrants, and it's just insane. And you have people like Thomas, who keep closing those doors or trying to close those doors because for whatever reason he looks at the mirror and he absolutely is disgusted by himself, mostly his skin color. Uncle Ruckus looking man.
And and who else made a boogeyman?
Who else made a boogeyman?
Yeah.
Alito did with his
Alito is a
voting rights extension.
He's a Christian nationalist. That guy's a Christian nationalist.
I was taking it back a little further in the past on that.
Oh, by all means, who you looking for?
Who was it? Yeah.
Graham Plattner's boys.
Oh, Bernie Sanders?
Germany.
I got you.
Now,
yeah. I guess.
The next thing I wanted to ask about, because I actually don't know anything about this.
By the way, before you go on, isn't Bernie Sanders Jewish?
Yeah.
That's
Wait a minute. Why did he endorse a guy with a Nazi tattoo?
But this is why he gets called a Zionist.
Oh my God! Oh God! Oh man! Go ahead.
Because, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Where is the line between advancing your goals for the greater good and character? And clearly, me and my goat Bernie, we have different lines.
Obviously.
But the Election Assistance Commission, Trump fired 2 Democratic commissioners and the GOP commissioner resigned. What's this all about?
It's basically him getting desperate because he doesn't have the votes to pass the SAVE Act. So he's getting real desperate and trying to find other ways to manipulate elections so he can break so the Republican Party has an advantage. That's all it is. But I don't think it's going to amount to much difference when it comes to the midterms. But the fact that he's done that should scare everybody, by the way. The fact that he's done it should scare everybody.
Because what I was about to say is, what I do know is that isn't it not normal for presidents to be firing these
No, they don't do that.
They don't do that.
They've never done that.
But this is a direct consequence of the Stroud decision by the Supreme Court. They
Yes.
gave the
Yes.
okay to do this. So
Mhm.
this is a consequence of that. Presidents
Yep.
don't have that power. The problem here is that what goes around comes around, and I'm pretty sure come 28, the next Democratic president will likely reverse damn near everything. Damn
Oh,
near everything.
100%. 100%. But yeah, the
And
decision.
probably
Go ahead.
we're talking like a complete I don't mean to cut you off, but we're talking like probably a complete uh either we see mass resignations from like the people they put in, or we see people get dropped like flies.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to have to be. There's a lot that the next. Listen, I remember when Biden came into office. He had to write a lot of executive orders to undo a lot of the damage Trump has done. Same's going to happen for. I mean, take your pick: Ossoff, Newsom, Pritzker, AOC. Whoever it is going to have to undo a lot of that damage. Like day one, just it's going to be a lot. But when you think about structurally, like. I think a lot about like how do we get back what we've lost in terms of our institutions like US Aid and Department of Education and restoring some of the EPA regulations. And remember, I think he fired the Board of National Scientists or something like that. Like it's just so much that we're gonna have to like restore and do. And I hope people are patient enough, people as in centrists, independents, are patient enough to understand, hey, y'all voted us in this mess because y'all thought bread was too high, so you voted in a madman. Like, give them some grace, give them some leniency, let the people in charge do what they need to fix it the best they can given our circumstances,
And that is why we should be stressing the importance of not just the presidency, but
Congress.
but Congress itself,
Yeah.
flipping state houses and stuff like that.
Mhm.
The importance of this type of stuff. That is what we should be stressing.
I'm gonna use the restroom right quick. I'll be right back.
Go ahead.
Oh, word. Well, I was gonna say I got a couple things that I want to rapid fire. The next
Go ahead.
thing was, and now this is also the first I'm seeing this, and I'm also gonna take it back to some stuff that we just kind of touched on not too long ago. But the DHS is now making states follow this federal citizenship verification system. Accept hand-marked paper ballots and audit 5% of ballots to get anti-terrorism grants, 20% of funds withheld until compliance. This is why I'm pissed off.
Mhm.
We just talked about how when it comes to voter fraud, the numbers are so small that no known election would have, the result of any election we've ever had would have never been impacted by any potential voter fraud. Why are we using resources to implement a federal citizenship verification system for voting?
I mean,
It's a
To rig
fucking
the
waste
system
of
in their
time.
favor. It's just to rig the system.
No,
in
I
their
know
favor.
why. I know why. I'm being
Yeah. I know.
an ass. I'm
No,
being an
you're not.
ass.
No.
No, I
Because
mean
some
like
people.
in terms of I'm being what is the word? Facetious?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, no, it's just, and that's what they've been doing, trying to do for the longest. If you
Oh wait,
look
we're
at,
losing someone.
did you lose me?
Yeah, say that again.
Oh, sorry. So when you look at, the history of what party has pushed for, I guess reform when it comes to our elections, like getting rid of electoral college, expanding representatives, giving voters more power, removing less obstacles to voting, it's always been the Democrats because regardless, and that should speak volumes to even people who are on the right that, hey, Democrats want people to vote. I don't listen. If you vote for a Republican, that's your right. If you vote for Jill Stein, you're still really, really stupid. But hey, that's your right to be stupid. But we support people's rights, regardless if they use them in the way that we would want to be used, or and when it comes to free speech and everything else. But the thing of it is, the Republicans know that their policies, their legislation, what they want to pass, is not popular. Like if you sat down and told the person, "Hey, look, there's this party that cuts food from children, that wants to close down rural hospitals, that want to restrict women's rights, that love rigging elections and all that," you wouldn't vote for them, right? You wouldn't. And I think someone had done a poll and asked people, "Hey," they gave them like all the policy positions of Kamala Harris, all the ones of Trump, and they didn't tell them who was who. They said, "Okay, which
Yeah.
policies sound better?" Most people chose Kamala Harris. So it just shows
Yeah.
you that when people are presented with, just the raw facts of this is what it is, without any sort of like brainwashing or prior knowledge about it, they're going to be like, "Gee, that does sound pretty bad." But of course, we don't live in a vacuum. We live in the very opposite of a vacuum when it comes to social media. So,
Yeah.
it's just, that's pretty much what it is. They know that their policy positions aren't very popular with the general public if the truth really was able to permeate through the algorithm, so to speak.
Yeah. And Jamal, real quick before you go, because I think you had something to say. Um,
Mhm.
Chris, we're over these next couple topics, we're kind of just like rapid fire going.
Okay, I got you. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
Oh shit,
What?
I did
No.
it again. Damn. I did it
No.
again.
I don't think I had anything to say.
Oh,
Okay, all right.
so the next thing, another thing that I didn't know. Apparently, the DOJ subpoenaed New York Times journalists to testify before a grand jury over reporting on security concerns with Trump's Qatari donated Air Force One. What's up with that? Because that seems kind of weird without knowing any context. Did you guys hear this?
I haven't heard of it, but I'm
I
not
heard
surprised
about
that
it,
they're.
but I also was just waiting for more information.
Yeah, I haven't heard of it.
Because I need to know, like, what did they? Let's see. Well, as I look into this, actually no, the next thing that was Graham Plattner, we already touched that. Dems won big in New York, New Jersey, Virginia. Congress plus budget. Housing bill, no signature. Oh, is this the thing of Trump being petty because he didn't get
Yeah.
what he wanted?
Thankfully, he
Yes.
doesn't understand how his own government works.
No,
So
he doesn't.
that's not.
He
But we're
does
not
not.
going to clarify why that's why it's a good thing he doesn't understand, because we don't want to give him any ideas.
I do know why, because it says here. And now I want to
No,
say it, but I won't.
it's funny. I'm glad the bill on it from the like surface level sounds pretty good. I think it prevents private corporations and PE firms from buying up like housing and stuff. And I think it might provide some ways to clearance for more housing to be built. I haven't looked into the bill, but it sounds on its face sounds like a net positive. So it's the very, very, very rare instance in even a Trump led government where, hey, both sides can come together and get good legislation passed. So, hey, a win for democracy.
It's one of the very few bipartisan bills that actually made it out of the Senate and to the House, and now to the presidency.
Well, no, it made it, but then he pushed it back. It's like so.
No, we're not gonna give him no idea. I'm just
so, he wouldn't understand. It's like that meme where it's like, if they could read that, they'd be very mad. Like, brother is not going. If we were to show him our podcast and what we talk about, he wouldn't understand half of what we're talking about.
Probably not.
I don't think he would. I don't think he would. I just like.
But also, at the very least, he is cunning enough to probably get a surface level idea. But at the same time, I don't want him to understand anything right now.
The words "cunning" in Trump, it's just doesn't sound right.
So
No.
more like conniving. I did just get a little bit. So it looks like part of the concern with Trump's latest attempt to intimidate media outlets, it looks like there's a bit of a concern that they may attempt to compel the journalists to testify about confidential sources.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not. We don't know taking steps and so blah blah blah. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know why or what they're trying to figure out. So I'll move on from that one. But seems sketchy.
I mean, it's not
Um,
the first. I mean, it's not the first time that he's attacked the media or journalists or anything. Didn't he get someone fired in the FTC or something like that, or FEC?
Mhm.
One of those.
Yeah, the FTC. Well, technically she was fired, but her term was already kind of coming up.
Right, right,
But
right.
he sped up the process.
And then he tried to get I think it was a black woman on the Federal Reserve Commission or board, or Federal Reserve Board, and he tried to get her removed over taxes or something. I forgot what it was. It was someone who's trying to get removed and saying that they could fire him, whatever. But I don't think I think they let her hold her spot or whatever. So they let her have a spot. You know, however that landed in court.
next thing, it looks like we have some budget cuts proposed.
Mhm.
54, it looks like they're trying to cut 54% from the NSF, 47% from NASA. Okay. And also for all the people that are watching, NASA doesn't just fly to space, by the way. So
Yes,
think of,
we're also trying to colonize Mars. Okay, we need all the money
yeah.
so that way we can move to
Um,
Mars and like start our Martian population. You know, have a Martian
right.
right-wing government. Yeah, all that cool
S-
stuff.
So to all my viewers here, um, when you're thinking about NASA being cut by 28%, it does matter. Then want to cut 10% from the NIST. I don't, or 28% from the NIST, 10% from the NIH, but plus 12% to nuclear weapons.
Cuts,
Um,
cuts, cuts. Wait, we need those nukes, buddy. We'll never use
how
them,
about
but can never have too many.
how about plus 12% to nuclear energy? You know,
Maybe.
And
I think we've had
I
this
think it's okay.
conversation before.
I think nuclear power is mostly okay as
I'm
long as
pretty
the
sure.
plants aren't near like a very populated area for safety reasons, obviously. But
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think we'll ever have like a Chernobyl situation go on where they just explode and it's like a nuclear wasteland in the middle of New York City or something. But for the most part, I think any sort of alternative energy sources is a plus. You know, I'm all
I agree.
for clean energy. I'm all for renewable energy. I support that, and I think that's important. So I guess that's a plus. So, but the cuts, of course, he's trying. That's what they do. Republicans cut stuff. You know, they don't like spending government money because in Republicans' mind, if it doesn't make enough profit, it's not worth having. So, which is dumb.
Big brain. Here's one. Chief Justice Roberts said, personally directed hostility towards judges has to stop. After Trump, our president, called a judge wacky, nasty, and crooked.
I once read there was some ruling that a judge had done. I forgot what it was. It was about the Trump administration where he did it and like MAGA people like were literally sending him messages threatening to like do the absolute worst to his family and his children. Yeah, no, Roberts, you don't get to say anything about that since I mean, hey, you could have taken him off the ballot, Roberts. You could have voted that the J6 was an insurrection and it's the 14th Amendment, but you didn't. You wanted him to still be in power so you could pass whatever agenda or rule on whatever agenda you wanted to get the nation closer to what you think it needs to be. But no, you don't get there to sit and complain about harassment when you've created this monster. No, fuck out of here.
See, and this is why I have you guys here because I don't even have a face to the name. So, but without knowing all, I'm just like, oh yeah, that seems reasonable because I didn't know anything about the guy's history.
Oh yeah, well yeah. So John
So-
Roberts is one who consistently votes on like conservative lines. Like he voted against Roe v. Wade. He voted against the Voting Rights Act. So he's just been gutting rights and people's rights left and right. and everything, and giving Trump he gave Trump the immunity win as well. Like, you don't get to complain about the monster that you've helped create. I'm sorry, you don't get to. If you don't get to do that. Like, you made your bed, now lie in it.
Now,
Yeah,
the
don't-
my only question is, I thought that was directed towards like citizens who are becoming more aware of the Supreme Court and kind of being extremely angry with them. Like, the public perception for the court is damn near in the ground now. And
I think it is, because what I've seen happen was people have, especially after Roe v. Wade, they would like protest outside their houses, like John Roberts' house. They were just protest. That's what he's talking about. No one's actually going up to him and like threatening to like kill his family, from my understanding, or anything like extreme like that. From what I've heard, mostly it's just been a lot of protests, obviously. But at the same time, he's helped create the monsters that, in terms of like creating this environment where you have someone like Trump that is just run away, that is just being a madman, being a lunatic with whatever he wants to do, and using the Supreme Court to kind of carry out his agenda.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, guys, hold on. Hold the phone here. Our bot is. I think our bot is stupid.
Rip.
When did this happen?
Oh, don't tell me that the entire stream got like deleted.
No. Just no. This I'm relying on our friend, our friend that we argue through every day.
Yeah.
And I'm
best friend in the world.
I'm trying to figure out when Trump actually made this.
Made what? What's the comment you're looking for?
This happened in March.
What is it about?
The wacky, nasty.
Oh, well, I can't speak to a specific time period, but I do know that.
No. This is a continuation of me. Hey, give me a rundown on politics in the last 7 days. And one of the things it put in here was that. And that happened in March. It's not even relevant. When Trump made the comment he did about this, that was not this week. That was 4 months ago. We're gonna move on.
That's fine.
The next thing, so now I'm questioning if any of this stuff was this week. Newsom, the tax he wants to put on health plans in California, says it could add $425 a year for families. He needs Trump to sign off on it. Is that this week, or is this in March?
I am not sure, but let me see. Newsom healthcare tax. It probably did, but we can always double check.
Yeah, I'm doing that too right now. Yeah, it looks like that's from this week.
Oh shit! Did he disappear?
Oh, maybe he clicked off.
Yeah, because I've noticed if I click on anything outside of the browser, it knocks me out.
Yeah, I sent you guys. Did you see? There's a app you can download where you actually join. You actually join through the app. And I meant to bring that up before we went live, but I forgot because I was discombobulated because I was 20 minutes late.
You good?
Can I bring him back? Oh yeah, he's here. Hold on. Yeah, you can't click off. But did you see a couple days ago? I sent in the chat. There's an actual like app you can use to join on StreamYard. Did you download it?
No, I didn't. I'll do it next time. My bad.
Yeah, we'll try. No, you're good. We'll try that next time.
All right.
But yeah, so apparently, it's California's proposed $8.85 per member per month tax on all commercial and public health plans. And yeah, they're estimating that this would get people about $425 a year. And he needs Trump for this. So
it must be federal dollars then. If he needs Trump for it, it must be some sort of. It's federal. Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be. Um, but if that's not something that we are read up on, we just
No,
move.
not too much.
Well, this is a low hanging fruit one here. But let
Yeah,
me make sure that it happened this week.
yeah, this is my
Um,
first time hearing about it as well.
physical. Oh,
I do know that Florida is set to, well, it's going to be on the ballot that they're trying to get rid of all property tax here. And I went to that. Remember, I told you I went to that town hall to where a person running for to represent our district for U.S. Congress was talking there. Apparently, it's going to, if that passes, where there's no property tax, it's going to take away $15 million in funding for the county. And remember, this is one of the poorest counties in Florida.
yeah. I'm not. Look, this. I'm gonna sound like you a little bit here.
Oh no.
I've actually talked about this before, and look, I live in a regular suburban area. Um, my property taxes are like a little over like 3,000. It's like right a little over $3,000 a year. Um, I understand that I understand that money is money, but like I don't have a pitchfork over my property taxes. Um,
Yeah. And
I,
some people do, unfortunately.
that one is they've went up. Like, don't get me wrong, they've went up since I moved to
Yeah.
this house,
Yeah.
but like I'm just pro it they don't move me. I don't if we're talking about like a tax reform, that's not the one that I'm trying to attack for real.
The reason why they're probably the reason why they're doing this is it's going to benefit people who are richer because, as you know, Florida
Yeah.
is a state where a lot of people like to move to retire. Like a lot of old people come here to retire because they got a pension or whatever 401k, living, they're living the good life in their older years. So they come to Florida, weather's nice, tourism, Disney World, all that stuff. And so for those people who have these expensive homes, that's going to save them, some money. And of course, they're going to look at it like that. However, the people like where I live, I don't pay very much on our property taxes. We don't, so
Yeah.
it's not that big of a deal for us. Also, you have to look at how do you make up the shortfall, right? It's going to put our county in a hole where it's going to be harder for us to pay for essential services like EMS, police, roads, all that stuff. So if you can't make up that budget deficit, if you can't make up the shortfall, well, guess what's going to end up happening? You're going to have to fire people, which is going to make it a little bit worse to live here if you don't have essential services that people need. So that's kind of
And
and we can vote on it. So I'm voting no on it. Don't worry. I'm not voting for DeSantis. I learned my lesson in 2018, but I'm 100% going to vote no on it.
and that's my thing. Like, don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
Like, I know the bigger the house, the higher the property taxes. But
Right.
like, that's my take on it is if you've achieved this beautiful, large, lovely home, I'm happy for you. But like, you can afford it. And
Oh
if
yeah,
and
for sure.
actually, and I'm not even gonna fuck that. I'm not even gonna hesitate with this. I'm about to actually flip this.
Uh-oh.
Anytime impoverished people are struggling, right? What do
Hmm.
wealthy people say? "Oh, pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Get through it. It's not rigged against you. You need to work harder. Bitch, if you got this big, nice house and your property taxes are expensive, pay them bitches, bro. What do you
Yeah.
like? We're not about to abolish property taxes because wealthy people who can afford it don't want to pay it. And now all
And
our
it,
shit is fucked up. It's like, give me a break, dude. So no, I'm not going for it. I'm not gonna be nice about it. If you're wealthy and you got a big ass house, you can afford your property taxes. And if you can't, you probably shouldn't have got that house and pick yourself up by your bootstraps.
our psychology. Yeah, no, I agree. Like 100%. If you have a nice, beautiful home and you have expensive property tax, I imagine you can afford to pay for the property tax. Like, again, it's rich old people moving here, so they can afford that. But what if more than likely it's gonna pass to where Florida has no property tax. We already don't have income tax We're not gonna have property tax. I don't like it's like Republicans' whole economic plan is no taxes on anything. And to me, I'm like, okay, but like, what about schools? What about roads? What about uh, firemen? What about policemen? What about public libraries? What about public parks? Well, like, I don't understand garbage. People, right? That's you're cutting away things that people rely on and making it worse for people to live here. I remember when because our new school, the reason why we're able to get it built is because our school superintendent got this. It's like a bond thing where we have to vote yes, saying that our property tax will increase and saying that we're going to use that money to build the new schools and all that stuff. There were people who were just absolutely against it. I had coworkers who didn't want this school built and everything just because they were like, I don't want my property taxes going up. I'm like looking at her like, you can afford it. I know you can afford it. So you were right. It is that mentality. You have to kind of use that reverse psychology. Like, what happened to picking yourself up by the bootstraps, right? And it's like, if students have a new nice facility to learn in, a nice environment with good resources, well, I think it can help in the long run, because the second the county has its test scores come out and it's oh so low, the first thing you want to do is complain about this, that, and the third. Well, one way we can help is building a new facility, making sure kids have a nice place to learn, bathrooms that work and all that good stuff. Like, it's just, I don't think they understand that, or rather maybe they don't care about it because their excuse is, well, my kid doesn't go to this school, or I don't have any children in the district, so why should I care? It's like, well, guess what? If that kid ends up, being a fool later on in life, you're going to have to care then, because it's going to come out of your taxpayer money.
And let me expand on this a little bit, because I didn't even realize that you guys don't have a state income or
no, we don't have it. Yeah, we don't have an income tax, and it shows. And now we make up for it with sales tax from like our tourism. Like, people go to Disney World and they spend like $100 on like a meal, but it still would help to have an income tax here in Florida, but it's written in our constitution. I don't think there's too much we can do about it at this point.
And I just looked it up. I looked it up real quick. I just got one thing I got to get off. I looked it up, and it does say, so you guys do rely heavily on sales tax, and you guys do rely heavily on tourism. Yes. But guess what else you guys are currently heavily relying on in the absence of your income tax? Property taxes.
Yeah.
Local governments rely heavily on ad valorem property taxes to fund municipalities and school districts.
That's what it's called. Yes.
Of your income tax. So real quick before I let Jay take over. So now, if you abolish your property taxes, because this is real quick, this is what people don't realize, right? When it comes to government and the money that leaves your pocket, okay? I'm going to talk like caveman. When government says, hey, ape, we not going to take this money from you no more. You keep. That does not mean that government is done taking amount of money they want. Government says, okay, we not take from this pile of bananas anymore. We are going to take more from other piles of bananas to make up for pile of banana we are not taking from anymore.
Essentially cuts. They start cutting stuff. That's what happens.
So now that your income tax is gone, residents of Florida,
it's been gone for decades.
If I didn't even know that. If they take away your property taxes too, they're going to take more money from other places. So still get same amount of money. You are not saving money. Go on, Jay. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, I kind of understand where you're coming from. The only difference here is Louisianans have this weird habit of, when they become informed, they can make educated decisions, even amongst party lines. And what I mean by that is that our governor has been trying to change Louisiana's constitution for a majority of his term. He became governor because nobody came out and voted, and he has made everybody's life a living hell. He has shortened every time his amendments fail, or his propositions fail, he proceeds to punish the people of Louisiana by lowering the unemployment duration. At first, it was 50. First was 65 weeks. Then his first attempt at amendments failed. Then he brought it to 52 weeks. Then it failed again. He brought it to 24 weeks. Now he's brought it down to 12 weeks because it's failed again. And even his own party, members are like, "Yo, you're squeezing my people dry. You're gonna have to stop, otherwise, you end up screwing yourself for reelection." Which I think he screwed himself in general. It's kind of he's not well liked by
Yeah.
anybody in this state, and him smooching up to the president isn't making him much better. And his open hostility to my home state, I mean, to my home city, being New Orleans, has not yielded the best results for him, and it kind of has pissed off even more people. So I say all that to say is that similar to Florida, our property taxes and income tax are tied to our Constitution. He has tried to change that a shit ton of time, and every time he gets told no, and then he punishes the people of Louisiana. So it's
Yeah.
hard to change. It's hard to change the Louisiana Constitution. It has to happen through amendments, and it has to be done by the voters. He
Yeah.
banks on low turnout all the time, since that's how he became governor. And so
Mm.
far, it's not been working in his favor. I recommend just. I can't recommend uh, a real answer other than you got to get people informed. And the
Yeah.
best antidote for voter apathy is pissed off, informed Americans. It's the best antidote. Piss them off, and they'll show up
Yeah.
just to give you the middle finger.
Yeah.
And just to go back to the Florida property tax abolishment, um, if they were to do so, you will likely see an increase in sales tax.
Yeah, that's
Um,
where they want to. Well, they'll have to do something. Like you have to find some way to fill in the hole, and that's the scary part. Also, our voucher program is kind of crazy to where they're literally it's taking funds that can be used on public school children. It's taking taxpayer dollars and just giving them straight up to parents and saying, "Look, if you enroll your kid in this private school, you can have this much money put in your account and you can spend it on whatever approved materials you want." And so it really is just like, well, Jesus, I don't see, with no property tax, no income tax, and of course with now funds being diverted from public schools, I'm not surprised that our county, again, one of the poorest ones, suffers directly from those policies. But guess what? This county has voted Republican its entire existence, probably. It's
and
just,
yeah, and there's more. It doesn't end at sales tax. So
oh,
there we have our the next section, fees plus hidden taxes. So the first one it lists is insurance fees, and I can speak to this because
oh yeah, that's
I
your
am
experts.
licensed on I may be licensed on insurance in Michigan, and I'm not licensed on insurance in Florida, so I can't
Hmm.
speak directly on Florida, but I can
Right.
speak on what I know about Michigan to elaborate on this a little bit because we have that. So
Mm.
the way it works right now in Michigan currently, and this is not a Gretchen Whitmer specific thing. This is pre Gretchen as well. But what a lot of people don't know in the state of Michigan is there's a portion of their auto insurance premium that does not go to the insurance company at all. It actually is a hidden tax by the state of Michigan
Mm.
that goes directly to the state of Michigan with the insurance
Ah.
as a medium. It's our MCCA fees, right? So
Okay. Hidden fees. I got
so
you.
when it says hidden insurance fees, that's what
Yeah.
it's talking about. The state government
Oh
just puts
man.
that in your auto policy premium. You have to have auto insurance so you can't escape it. So then
Mm.
from there, gas tax, tolls, vehicle registration. That affects
Hmm.
everyone. Business
Yep.
taxes. Now, ironically, the right, they don't want to tax businesses. So you're inadvertently supporting businesses getting taxed more, which actually I'm cool with. But in this case, you're going to get nothing for it. And you're just going to get charged more when you buy things
Yeah.
because the business isn't just going to let that money just go away. But there's more. Tourism taxes. I know Florida people, you don't care about that
That's our
because,
biggest one. That's our
yeah,
biggest one is tourism.
and that's mainly going to hit people from out of state, so you don't really, that I wouldn't care about that, so it is what it is. But then we have things like fire protection fees, road maintenance
Ooh.
fees on utility bills. We have
Mhm.
impact fees, which means new construction gets hit harder. What does that do? That affects the cost of houses, which is ironic because you're trying
Mhm.
to lower house costs with less
Yeah.
taxes. Now,
Yep.
again, I know you retired snowbirds aren't going to care about that because the house is probably paid off, but you can't afford your property taxes right now. So anyway, um, and then sales tax referendums. Most counties vote to add more to sales tax. Um, so yeah, you're not saving any money. Now, am I a fool? Am I going to act like it doesn't give you more control or autonomy to choose what you spend said money on? But it's you're going to end up coming out of pocket anyway. So
Yeah. You pay one way or
pick your
another, or
poison.
they cut,
Pick your
or they
poison.
cut, or they make cuts. Like you either they have to get it from other sources and they have to raise rates for other taxes, or they have to cut services, fire people. Like those are the two options, that
And that
I mean,
and
yeah.
which is ironic because in this hypothetical scenario that no one thinks about, you don't have property tax anymore, so they make these cuts. Now there's not enough firemen. Your house burns down.
Hmm.
And now
So,
you're
and
paying a lot.
Florida, yeah, and one thing I do know, Florida, I know your home insurance is messed up. So you don't want your house to burn down
Oh
because
no.
you're gonna have a whole other can of worms. Good luck getting insurance after your house burns down in Florida. But
Shoot.
so
I know. It's awful. It's awful. But yeah,
and and
that's
and this is what it boils down to. Flip this, please. Republican voters, specifically white Republican voters, you consistently vote against your own best interests to spite people that don't look like you. And guess what? It does not end there because in the long term, not only are you spiting the people that don't look like you, so I get it, you
mm,
don't care, but at this point in the long term, you are spiting your grandkids, the kids after that, the kids after that, and the kids after that. We are
yeah.
getting to a point where your lineage is not going to be able to live
Oh,
because you want to spite people that don't look like you. Start voting in your own best interest for the sake of for actually no, we
everybody.
not
For
even for
everybody. Yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not even for everybody. Do it for yourself. Be selfish.
Hmm.
You can be selfish and have left-wing values. I was listening to someone talk about this today. So,
Mm.
You absolutely
whatever.
can.
Oh yeah. I believe it was, yeah, 100%. You should always vote in what you think the best interest is, especially if you are on the left and you want the best for yourself, for your community, for other people. It's just important. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't think in their best interest or the interest of others or the future interest of people who we've never even met, who aren't even born yet. Like, I wish people had just enough foresight to understand that. And see the ramifications. And I think that's probably one of the biggest dividers between the two parties, where the Democrats do think, okay, some of this is going to be some short-term pain. Yes, we're going to raise your taxes. Yes, it's going to be a little expensive, but we'll still. But guess what? People have health care. People will be able to afford housing. People can afford groceries. Our social safety nets will be strengthened. We'll have more programs for people who are homeless people, right? It's like the short-term pain is worth the long-term gain. But the Republicans are the opposite. Like, hey, hey, here's this big tax cut. You get a tax break, you get a tax break, you get a tax break, and then later on you got to pay for it because you've made all these cuts. You have a deficit in your budget. Your richest people aren't paying into the systems that like they need to. And now, well, it's like, okay, well, now everyone's just worse off because no one said, hey, shouldn't we think about the long term?
And just to expand on that, we're dealing with, and I know what you mean. This is not discrediting you. This is to try to
Mm.
get through to someone who may ever see this. We're feeling the pain right now anyway. What do you have to lose? Try something different. Shit is not working out. It's not working out. It's getting worse every single day. Yesterday, and I know some idiot, if they see this, they're gonna think to themselves, "Oh, this dude is a failure in life. He's complaining about money, so he's." I went to the grocery store yesterday, and look. I am a very, very frugal grocery shopper and shopper in general. Okay.
Same here.
I went to the grocery store. I had 4 bags of groceries. I spent $200 on 4 bags of groceries. And that is a consistent thing. If I leave the grocery store with 2 bags of groceries, I'm spending $100. Shit is not working. And this is the thing, conservatives. I'm tapped in. I see you guys complaining about the prices of everything. Like you're halfway there. You're almost there. I see you complaining. I know you're feeling it. But somewhere down the pipeline, when it comes to like making the brain connection of identifying the source of this, you don't make it there. And
Well,
I don't know why.
And it's crazy because I remember when towards the end of 2024, if you ask them, hey, things are expensive, whatnot, blah blah blah, yeah, are things better or worse than they were during COVID and after the pandemic? Most of them would probably say things are worse. I feel like most of them would say that, and that's the thing about the connection between the source of where the pain is coming from. I don't think a lot of them can identify that correctly and understand a few things. In very rare cases, can presidents control grocery prices? There's no legislation you can point to that Biden did that made grocery prices go up. He had a whole piece of legislation called the Inflation Reduction Act, meant to make sure that, hey, I can't lower grocery prices, but I can try and increase corporate tax rates. I can try and make sure we invest in green new energy, so we have other energy sources besides coal and oil and everything else. So he was trying to do the best he could given the circumstance, and people don't get that. They just say, hey, he was in charge, he should have fixed the grocery price. No. Whereas with Trump, you can literally tie the blanket tariffs directly to the increase in grocery prices. You can tie the mass deportations with increase in produce prices. You can tie climate change affecting grocery prices. You can tie all of this to that. And yet they don't, for whatever reason, and they still think it's worth it. They thought the war in Iran is worth it if we don't have a nuclear bomb dropped on our heads. And it's like, that doesn't make any imaginary one, right? So it's just they don't correctly identify the problem, the solution, and the source of the problem. Like all that is just messed up in their thinking.
It's ridiculous, and I'm happy you said that because I was about to say that. At least in our millennial lives, right? For the most part, that's always been the discourse. It's been, fuck that. I'm just gonna get straight to the point. We are to the point where blaming it on the last guy doesn't work because, like Chris just said, this dude is so bad. We instantly feel the effects of the shit he does. It's not even a delayed. It's not even a delayed.
No.
It happens overnight. This dude tanks market like supply markets like this. It's insane. And the part that makes it the absolute craziest, and I'm partially guilty of this as well because I was very critical of the Biden administration during lockdown because I wasn't who I am today. But
Hmm.
we watched
Hmm.
conservatives specifically go through they an absolute outrage. And to take it back to what you said, it is worse today than it was in lockdown. It is worse. I was there. If shit is more expensive.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a peak of lockdown that I'm not remembering, or maybe I wasn't impacted by. I don't know. But overall, generally speaking, price wise, shit is worse.
Yeah.
And by the logic that these conservatives used, and fuck it, for part of it, Trump was the president for part of it. It wasn't even all Biden. Trump was a part of
No.
the. But
No.
anyway,
Yeah.
whatever. It it does not make, well, it does make sense to me because I know why, but it doesn't make sense to me that right now conservatives are feeling the effects and they're like, oh well, ah, whatever. But 6 years ago, when people were dropping dead of a mystery
Yeah.
virus and they wanted us to stay at home, the prices were unacceptable and they were ready to freaking, well, they did.
Protests.
They
Yeah, they
did
did. Yeah, they did.
revolt. Well, no, I was going to say revolt. They did. It was over the election, but same underlying theme. I
Yeah.
mean, they revolted before Biden even got a chance to get in. They didn't even
Yeah.
let it get. They didn't even let Biden mess up. They were ready to
No.
flip it upside down over that. Now we're literally living through what feels like the worst time in our lifetimes. And
Hmm.
they're the MAGA and conservatives have been reduced to just, what is it, virtue signaling. All they
Hmm.
fucking got now is their
Yeah.
fucking catchphrases because everything that
Hmm.
their candidate ran on is
Yeah.
nothing.
Like the
But
crazy part about it is that they did these mass deportations thinking, oh, well, the reason why everything is expensive is because there's so many immigrants here. The reason why housing is up. Well, they've tried to do the mass deportations. They're still doing them. Things are still going up. Like it's like they don't make the one-to-one connection that, hey, maybe just maybe the person that you've been listening to is just lying to you. Maybe has it ever occurred that maybe your whole belief system about immigrants being the problem was just a lie that they cooked up just so you could vote away your rights and vote against your best interests constantly?
Just
Go ahead,
just
Jay.
look at the numbers. Just literally look at the numbers. Like everything they say, everything that they say about illegal immigrants or immigrants in general is just not. You can simply just look at the numbers. Okay,
Yeah.
there's not as many of them as you think, as you think they are. They're
No.
actually, and
No.
if you actually really look into it, they contribute to our society more than any bad that they do.
Yeah.
on
It,
top
One
of
hundred
that,
percent.
go on.
it's not just they contribute. It's like 90 billion in terms of like profit in taxes that they give to us. And keep in mind, even amongst the maybe one, two, three bad guys that may come in, compared to actual Americans, they commit the least amount of crime.
Yes, that is true.
And on the topic of voting against their own interests, they voted against their own health care.
Oh wait, Jay. I'm so sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
We got a both sides bad person in here.
Oh no,
Oh,
this should
oh,
be
let them
fun.
talk. Let them talk. I'm just kidding.
XNF, XNF. Why do you think that's just Republicans? Democrats are just as R word. Our brother, we're so past that at this point. Like you are, I am assuming that you're an American bullying a lot low. Oh, because he said the R word, whatever. Brother, because I don't need to. Why do I need to? I don't need to say that. Like it's not even necessary. But that aside, I am assuming that you're an American that
Or a
has
bot.
that is living through what we're living through right now. Explain to me how Democrats are just as bad as Republicans. Explain to me. I want to know what your thought process is. No, don't
Like
get
if you
hung up
look
on that.
if you look at like the raw numbers of like inflation is up, unemployment is has gone up, especially black unemployment.
Oh
Food
yeah.
prices are up
Okay.
from like if you look at Biden's like last term and looking at the macroeconomic metrics, everything, all those metrics were better in 2024 than they are now. You know, average gas prices, all those things. And then you look at all the promises that Trump made, he's broken every single one of them. So I don't see how you could both sides this issue. Like just pick any topic. You could pick the Iranian war. Biden didn't try and bomb Iran or anything like that. Obama didn't try and bomb Iran. But here you have not only Trump has bombed Iran, but now he's trying to give them more money than Obama ever did with a worse deal, and with the strait being like partially open or whatever, or partially closed. Like, it's ridiculous. So I can't, like, what I would love for him to like point to a legislation or a comparison point that we can like kind of, you know, elaborate on, where he could say, hey, I think this thing and this thing, they both did these things the same. And it's like, well, be specific, you know, be specific about what it is that you're talking about.
Can you see the chat?
Yeah, I can see it. Genocide, Joe. Wait.
He
Okay,
said,
so
Oh, wait, you want who? Oh, Jamal,
hold on,
Jay, you
hold
want to
on.
go for this
Let
one?
me.
You want to?
Well, no. I mean, look. I'm just gonna ask. Explain that more. Explain what Biden did. I just want to know what. Explain the genocide, Joe, because I need you. I need to make sure you understand how your own government works. Please explain it.
Uh oh. Jay's fired up.
If you can't explain it, then there's no
Kama-
discussion.
Kamala didn't even lie about wanting peace. Iran was our greatest adversary.
Yeah, but Obama had already signed a nuclear deal that made sure that we didn't ever have to strike them or bomb them for most of any reason, especially when it comes to preventing them from having a nuclear bomb, right? All Trump had to do in 2017 was renegotiate the deal, but he tore it up, right? But even after he tore it up and Biden got into office, he didn't go and start a whole war with Iran, because a lot of Democrats listened to their experts. And if Trump had listened to his, we wouldn't be in the mess that we're in now. All right. So
Well,
that's
Chris,
the difference. Oh, go ahead.
well,
Real
Chris,
quick,
give them. You're giving them too much credit right now. I'm
I
fairly
probably
certain
am.
they don't know what they're talking about, because twice now they can't explain it.
but
They gave
Like,
three comments showing. Let's see.
but
You talk about.
real quick. And
Mhm.
also, Chatter, I just want to let you know, like a little over a year ago, I was in the same boat as you. So I know you probably think that I'm like this lifelong, as you would probably say, libtard. I'm not. Um, but real quick, I just want to ask you a question, because obviously you care about the Gaza situation, and I care about it a
Okay.
lot too. Actually, I I
mm-hmm.
I care about it a lot more than you probably realize. But I just want to know. I'm going to ask you a simple question. If Kamala was in office right now, do you think the Gaza situation would be as bad as it is right now? And the only reason I'm saying that, I'm not trying to get you with a gotcha. I'm just trying to understand, because you're the one saying that both sides are the same. So I just need to know if you think that things would be worse or the way they are right now if she was the one in office, because I think that it would probably be it would not be as bad. Would it be good? No. Because Gaza was they were getting a raw end of the deal either way. But it would not be the way it is right now. You can't and then but
Like,
Democrats are too busy whining about MAGA to recognize their tribe as demonic too. Brother, if Democrats are demonic, MAGA
brother,
is I don't even know the next level of
listen, I
to even
wouldn't.
say.
I was
The
trying to think in
actual
terms of like
Antichrist.
the actual. No, if you're thinking about terms, and I was trying to think of an example, like
Kamala hasn't said a single thing against what is happening. The hope
She
things
was
would
the
be
first.
different.
she literally.
Is
Hold on.
that what
I'll click
she's
them.
been
I'll click
lying to
them.
her own party?
No, she hasn't been
Yeah.
lying. She told the truth. She said that she wanted a ceasefire. She said she was concerned about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. She said she still supported Israel as an ally, but she realized that they needed to come together. And that's what they have to say because they are our leaders. They determine our domestic and foreign policy. Israel is still an ally on paper. So guess what? She couldn't say anything that was too crazy to where it could ruin her chances. Also, you have to realize that Jewish people also vote in our elections as well. So when it comes to that issue, you have to be very careful about threading the needle and making sure that your message comes across to the people you want to appeal to. So when it comes to that, yes, she did care about ending the war. No, she did not advocate for genocide. Neither did Biden. Their whole mission, the whole Democrats' mission when it came to that war was trying their best to make sure that Hamas didn't cause any more harm. Now, you can make criticisms about that, but the actual the accusation of genocide, well, you have to prove that she had the intention, or Joe Biden had the intention, to actually eliminate Palestinians. If you can't prove that, then that's just a baseless accusation that you're making.
Keep in mind, Kamala Harris was the first United States official to openly talk about, to openly call for an actual ceasefire, even amongst the congressional representatives that were in office at the time. The closest you had was Jamal Bowman, who went to bat for them during the election cycle, not their actual time in Congress previously, and Cori Bush, who did the exact same thing, waited until the freaking election to talk about it. If it mattered as much to either of these people, they still would be pushing for it while
Yes, and
things were still somewhat manageable.
Right,
Kamala
because it
Harris
makes
was
no
the first to
sense.
talk about it. And on top of that, Kamala Harris was the vice president. She has no legislative power
No,
beyond a
yeah,
Senate tie-breaking vote. And even in her limited capacity, she pushed for her time in the Senate. She pushed for humanitarian aid, focused almost entirely on it. The voting records are public. They're available for people to see. There's no point in lying. We can see how these people move based on not just their words, but on their actions, which is the voting. We can see that. You can claim Kamala Harris and give a shit about this and give a shit about that. She played in our face. You claim all those different claims. You can have them. But the reality is that she voted in such a way that focused on humanitarian aid. Also, if you even go back like further, right before the election, there was an op-ed on Kamala Harris, and she mirrored the exact same relationship Obama had with Netanyahu, which was extremely distant. And Obama was heavy on sanctions. He was heavy on humanitarian aid packages. Kamala Harris was said to be even more stricter about it, as she would have probably distanced America so much that it would have left Netanyahu in a position of I either play along or I'm done. That's
yeah,
a fact. That's a fact. It's an
yes,
op-ed that was done right before she became the presumptive nominee. She quite literally would have been the most preferred option. We can sit here and claim Joe Biden didn't do enough. That's fine. I acknowledge that because I don't think he did enough. I think he should have been even harder.
mm-hmm,
And I think he should have
mm-hmm,
held his ground, even though Congress was passing the aid packages he was hoping for. I think he should have held on a month longer for the embargo sanction that he was doing. Not an embargo's deal. It was an actual sanction. That is all this is factual information available to the public. You can read this yourself. You can educate yourself and still promote the fact that you think they should have done more. Because I believe they should have done more. Problem here is now that's gone. That's gone. The option to help is gone. Now we have to focus on the realistic option, and that is repairing what can be repaired because the time to help is done. You fucked over the Palestinians in 24. You fucked
yep,
them over because
yep.
they even stated they wanted Kamala Harris to be president. You fucked them over by doing that. Now we have to worry about how can we help fix the problem that we
But the,
created because people didn't care enough.
And
but
Bibi
the,
Netanyahu wanted Trump to win. Like, he literally was in support of Trump. He did not want
Indeed.
Kamala Harris winning. So the fact that so many of these far leftists who claim to care about Palestinians didn't vote for her, they were literally doing what the person that they hate the most wanted them to do. So it's just insane to me. It's like, well, duh, no, of course Kamala Harris is better on foreign policy than Trump. That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer.
Hold on, Chris. They said right here that she was worse, and that Trump at least pretend to care. Trump didn't pretend to care. That man said he said he was gonna turn that into a waterfront. What about that? What about that even pretends that he cares? That man told y'all how he felt and what he intended to let happen. Nothing about
I'm sorry, before I forget, I just want to say something real quick because I feel like I might enter a flow state. My guy, Chatter. First, the original, and again, I used to be like you, so I know what's really going on in your head. You can't fool me, okay? First, your original premise, both sides bad. This is where you're trying to come from. We start trying to explain to you, or my bad, both sides same. We started trying to explain to you why both sides are not the same. What's flooring me is you are you a closet Republican? And I mean this wholeheartedly because I don't know what it is with centrism and starting out with both sides bad, both sides same, but then somehow you pivot to a defense of Trump while condemning Biden and Kamala. So if you're a true centrist and you actually think both sides same, both sides bad, that's one thing. But it seems like you favor a side because okay, I'm nothing like you. Brother, I had all these talking points. I had all these, everything you're saying, I had these talking points. This is madness. You're a closet Republican. Just admit it to yourself. And that's fine. There's not a problem with that. That's not an insult. But stop posing as a both sides same person. Because you got more smoke for Biden and Kamala than you do for Trump. Why? Like, what do you mean? Oh, at least Trump pretended he wanted peace.
Hold on.
Even if that's true.
I want to ask him, and he can answer. If he doesn't want to, that's fine. Who did he vote for in the 2024 election? That's the first question. I would love to know.
And if you didn't vote at all, why?
And if he didn't vote at all,
why?
But also on top of it,
he's a closet Republican, and
on top of that, and on top of that, right? Based on what he's seeing now, can I want him to say? Does he think that if Kamala Harris was in charge, would things be worse, better, or the same? Like, if Harris was our president, would the last 1.5 years of her presidency be worse than Trump's, the same, or better? I really want to know where his mindset is at. Like, who did he vote for, and does he think Kamala Harris would have been a better president, or the same, or the worse? I want to know because I'm curious. Because from there, we know all his talking points. It just based on those answers, we're gonna know all of his talking points, all how he thinks. Because these people are, I mean, literally, it's the verbatim the same. With how they think about things.
Also, right after he answers that, I need you to explain who the establishment is.
Did he say establishment?
Yeah, he said the establishment is evil. I need to know who the establishment is.
He's not going to be able to answer that.
But the thing is, I clocked him, so he's trying to cover because he's caught. That's all it is.
Has he answered?
This is all my old talking points.
I just need to know who the establishment is because that'll tell me more than enough. I mean, I already kind of have everything on who and what they are. I just need to know who the establishment is. Please tell me.
Both sides are the same, but Kamala worse, Trump better because he lied. Like, get out. Like, what are we doing? My brain is broken. Not clear if she'd be worse. Okay.
Obviously, she was prepared to fight Iran. Might have pushed further than Trump has, or might not. I'm not sure. How would she be? How in the world would she be prepared to fight Iran? What? Like, her boss, the person she learned under, like Joe Biden, didn't bomb Iran. Why would she bomb Iran?
I I think maybe what the only other option I could see is like when Joe first became president, he responded to a group in Iran that attacked America like right before his no right before he addressed
Nation. Oh, you got and
the nation. And
okay.
when he said the United States will not be bullied, that's the only time he actually responded with like physical weaponry. But even then,
Towards
that
Iran,
was
to
yeah,
towards Iran,
not Iran. It
or
wasn't
a
towards
group. It was
Iran.
a group.
It was a group in Iran. It was a
Okay.
group in
Well,
Iran
that's
that did it,
yeah.
and he
That's a different
responded
scale.
and
That's a
he
different scale.
responded accordingly. And all he stated right after was, "We will not be bullied." And then he didn't do anything after. They
And
responded first, and then he responded, and that's part of the presidency. That's why they're called the commander in chief.
yeah,
What do
yeah.
they think that means? That's part of it. You will be a war criminal one way or another. That's just the name of the title. It is what
Right.
it is. But that's the only other time I could see you claiming that man's a war criminal because he quite literally echoed FDR in his soft power. I just need to
She
know.
talked about it in her campaign. The thing that she talked about was making sure that the United States had a strong, lethal fighting force. Yes, we want to have a strong military, but I don't think Kamala Harris would have like appointed someone as dumb as Pete Hegseth and renamed the Department of Defense Department of War and double tap people in boats
I know the video.
in the Gulf. Like, what in the
Well,
world is he like? That
I
doesn't make
know
any
the
sense.
video. I think I know the video they're linking. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna watch that shit because I already know. I already know.
yeah.
I already know who Kamala Harris is and what she's about. I'm not gonna watch all that and regurgitate
Like, there was
something that
no
happened.
evidence
But
that she would have
but
started a whole war with Iran. It's just
the
nothing
closest the
points to that.
closest we have the closest we have to her being standing 10 toe down on Iran was when she's like, absolutely, they should not have any nuclear weapons. However, she talked about negotiations and peace deals.
Yes, yes,
That's the
and
closest she
sanctions and
talked
stuff like that.
about.
Yeah,
The only thing she had a hard line on was that no, there was a big no on nuclear weapons. That's all.
yeah.
So I have to question at the very least what you mean. The fact that you can't explain yourself in such a way that informs us you have a proper understanding of functions and structures of your own government
he said,
and who can do
stop lying
what.
to yourself.
I just want to
I bet.
know.
So,
I just want to know if both sides are the same, or if Kamala and Biden worse. Because again, I'm gonna keep harping on this. It sounds like to you, Biden and Kamala are worse.
and
So
if that's true, at the very least, I need them to explain how, in what capacity,
Well, so
because
far he tried the Iran route, but it doesn't make any sense. Like I said,
no,
Kamala
it
Harris
doesn't.
wouldn't have bombed Iran. She would have like sanctioned them. She probably would have tried for the nuclear negotiation because again, Obama. People got to understand every Democratic president has been a little towards the left than the last one, right? Obama was more of a moderate than Biden. Biden was a
I
bit more
wouldn't even call.
progressive than Obama, and Kamala Harris would have been even more progressive than Biden. So if all
She was.
three of them, go ahead, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. I was gonna
No,
say.
I was gonna say,
Go ahead. No, well, no, go ahead. You finish first because I don't want to interrupt you. I like where you're
okay,
heading. Go ahead.
yeah. But all three of them decided to handle Iran in a peaceful manner. All two of them, not because she was never allowed to be president, but still, I'm sure she, in her capacity as vice president, like you said about the humanitarian aid, she pushed for more peaceful solutions, and she was more sympathetic to the Palestinian people. So that tells me a lot about where her thoughts are about foreign policy. And she said that she listened to smart people in the room as opposed to Trump listening to just himself. So it's just so hard where you see one person who, has the experience in government and all of that doing the things that you want to see in terms of the no new wars, but yet you still think Trump was the one. And now we're in a forever war with Iran for no reason. And we're not even any closer to having any peace between Palestinians and Israelis when it comes to the war that they're experiencing.
learn
So,
to read. The sides
Learn
are
to read.
fake. The establishment of both parties work together. Just try to imagine that other people just try just
Yeah.
just try to imagine that other people aren't as partisan brained as you are. Brother, I'm not partisan.
Man, Evan Partisan. Oh my God,
I'm not partisan. Like
brother.
Oh my
Wrong.
God.
I'm aligned with the Democratic Party right now because our president is a fascist. Like
Oh, use the
I
F word.
Not
okay,
partisan.
real
That's
quick,
crazy.
chatter. I just want to know. Okay, all right, let's talk Biden, bro. And Biden wasn't a fascist. Are you comparing?
Oh my God.
This
Nah,
We're
is
we're
word to
in
crazy.
meaning.
we're in
Word to meaning.
2026. We're in 2026.
Boy,
How can
what?
you?
Biden is a fascist. I can't. I can't
You
take
know
this
what? Hang
person
on.
seriously. I can't take
Hang
this
on.
seriously.
I
Well, no,
I just
But
gotta.
let
real
I
him
just
be.
quick. Wait. I want to chatter. Okay, let's put the Iran, Gaza, Israel thing to the side. Can
yeah,
you?
yeah.
I want to know like more about your views. Like, what other things outside of that topic make both sides the same? Can you let me know, please?
Yes.
All right, go on, Jay. I'm sorry.
No, oh no.
Calling Biden a
I,
fascist.
I don't know what a
I
fascist. I don't know what a fascist is, but you just called Joe
crazy
Biden
word,
a fascist, and I don't know
bro.
what a fascist is.
Words have
What are you
meaning.
talking
Oh my
about?
Wait
God.
a minute. I don't even know where to
I,
start with that one. I don't even know where to begin.
I just have to sit here and wonder. Do you know what you're talking about? Because now it just sounds like you're looking for whatever reason to just throw out whatever labels distracts from whatever argument we've posed to you. I'm more concerned that you have zero proper understanding of your own government, but
Wait a minute.
all you know is social media talking points. And
Bro.
let me ask,
Wait. What about
let
January
me pose a
6th?
question.
What about January? No, do January 6th. You have to start with January 6th. That
Nah,
needs to
nah,
be the litmus test.
that's low hanging fruit.
Oh, come on. All right, go ahead,
Nah,
go ahead,
nah.
go ahead.
Words have meaning. So here's what I'm gonna ask you, whatever your name is. I'm not paying attention. I, let me just ask you: do you think Joe Biden could have solved this with a stroke of a pen? That's all I have right now in terms of just a question.
Oh,
Do you
I
think
wanna
he could
ask
have
about
solved
January
this
6th
with a stroke
afterwards.
of a pen? Do you think he could solve it with a stroke of a pen?
No,
Just
we're
answer the
not. I'm
question.
hold on real quick because he's not. I'm not doing the. I'm not playing the game. I want tell me other ways that both sides are the same. I want to know like where you fall. We're
Voting
not.
Oh
records,
We're
man.
all
we're
up.
not
Yeah.
because this is the thing. If I
Oh Jesus.
verbatim if I verbatim read you the definition of a fascist, you're going to say something else. I'm not falling. I know
hmm
the tactics. I'm not falling for it.
Oh my. I
Brother, you just told me that Joe Biden is a fascist,
Fascist.
and you want me to give you an explanation of what fascism is. I'm
y'all
not meeting
remember
you there.
y'all remember when Biden like started a meme coin with his wife and everything and got like $1 billion from it? Remember that? Y'all remember when Biden did that really fascist thing?
Yeah.
Y'all remember when he got a $400 million jet from a foreign entity? Y'all remember when he like staged like a coup against the government because
Okay.
he didn't win the
We got somewhere. We got somewhere. He
Okay,
did
hang
say
on.
Okay.
Trump. He said Trump is a fascist.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
But it is not on me to explain to you how Biden is not a fascist.
Right. You
I
made the
need
claim.
you to
You got to
explain
back
to
it up.
me
Oh.
how Biden is a fascist.
And also,
Like
please explain. Do you think
what
the former president, could solve this with a stroke of a pen?
like
I just want, I want a legit answer. I, I just need to know. Do you think he could have solved this with a stroke of a pen, with any of the executive orders?
what specific action has Biden taken that could be like labeled as fascist? I wonder. Like, was it him dropping out
I'm,
of the race? Like, what? Because a lot of them tend to say, "Well, he dropped out of the race and they anointed Kamala Harris as the nominee." That's always one that they
no,
try and point to. but I don't. That still wouldn't make any sense. That doesn't.
It doesn't make any
That's not
sense
your.
because if you understand how your government works, you understand that's the
Chatter,
point of the vice president.
chatter. What I'm telling you is, I'm not playing the game that you're trying to play. I'm not the one making the outlandish statement. You are.
Like,
I'm
we need
not
a
doing it.
specific example. I need from him a specific example of Biden being a fascist. Like, what in his mind was a fascist action from Biden?
It probably because we had to stay home when a virus was picking us
Keep in
off.
mind that happened under Donald
Oh my
Trump,
god.
mind you.
I'm not a
Yeah.
partisan. I'm not a partisan. I don't even you have to put a gun to my head to get me to call myself a Democrat.
Oh wow.
On top of
Jesus. I didn't know. I'm just
on
kidding. I'm
top
just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
on top of that,
I like the
they're
word
not
I
using
say progressive.
they're not even
Oh
using
yeah, that's
partisan
fine.
properly. They're not even
I
using
have
partisan properly.
I have no loyalty to the Democratic Party. I am if I was a partisan, I would not look at you and say that. I have no loyalty to the Democratic Party.
I
Now,
will.
So
my friends here are friendlier to the Democratic Party.
Yeah, listen, and until like some mass extinction event changes the way Republican brains work, I'm a diehard Democrat. Okay.
okay, look, can I ask? I'm just gonna ask them this. Can
He's
you?
just gonna throw out another distraction.
Yeah. Well, I'm right here. What, in your opinion, is partisan? Can you explain that?
It's on us to explain it.
No, that ain't how that works. Explain what partisan means to you. Because if you can't explain that, then we can't have a discussion. 'Cause that means you don't know what you're talking about. So,
I mean, you can call me partisan. I don't care. I'll
oh, I
stand
don't
by my
care. Shit.
values.
Well, and this is the
I'll
thing.
stand by my values. I mean, and I know they're better than Republicans.
But this is the thing, and this is the irony of the entire thing is and I understand he's just looking at a stream with three guys ranting about Republicans. So I get it and I get how it comes off.
Yeah.
But he is
For
assuming
good reason.
that the three of us are just completely aligned and it's not the case. We
Keep
like
in mind, at least two of us are from southern states that have a very different definition of what it is to be either a progressive or a liberal or a
Yep,
Democrat.
pretty much. Pretty
Keep
much.
that in
Yep.
mind. We're
Yep.
from
and
southern
but
states.
and the main thing that I wanted to say is the reason that us three are aligned right now and having a conversation is because what a fascist is doing and is actively doing, you know.
Exactly.
But
I think he left.
I
We bullied him away.
may have. I got a
Brett.
crazy bug. Streaming outside is crazy.
Uh,
He might
Also,
have. He
we're
might
hitting
not
that
have.
3 hour mark. I'm getting tired, y'all.
Yeah, it is about
Yeah,
time to wrap it. I just want to see,
Jay's. Yeah. Go ahead.
Chatter. Are you with us or are you gone? Because we're probably about to wrap it up here.
Hey man, he can join our stream next time, and we'll continue to be as partisan as we want to be, buddy.
Yeah, and we'll just do it earlier. We all kind of had stuff to do today.
I've got the most insane looking beetle on my laptop.
He's
This
back.
is
He's giving one more comment. Was it's not a coincidence that a large number of political commentators all started to use the word fascist against anyone and everyone they disagreed with. All right,
you
buddy.
just called Joe Biden a fascist.
All right, buddy. Okay.
You just
All right.
called Joe Biden a fascist.
All right.
Literally can't explain what a fascist means.
Oh,
Liar.
Oh man.
Hey, if you want, brother, and I'm not gonna do this because we're facing a very dangerous force right now. But in a different
Absolutely.
time,
Yeah.
I'll sit here and I'll crack jokes with you about Joe Biden all day, Chatter. I just can't do it
Brother,
right now
the jokes
because
write themselves for him.
Oh,
you know.
listen. The video is him wandering off stage. I'm like, Jesus Christ, we need to stop electing 80-year-old men. Okay, I
And
know I
by
voted
and
for him, and I'm proud I voted for him. But can we please start running some younger people, please?
At
and
least make them
Biden
around 30, maybe 40 years old.
And
Yeah,
Biden
well, you got to
wasn't.
be 35 plus to be president. But yeah, I would love to have like a 38-year-old president. That sounds great.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And Biden wasn't a fascist isn't a claim, it's a question. So
Why
I
didn't
mean,
you
I
form
don't
it like a
know.
question?
I
I'll
mean, we're not.
start. Is Biden a nationalist?
What?
I'm asking because
Oh,
that's
I see
Oh,
in
where
in
Evan's going. I see where Evan's going with it. I see where Evan's going with it.
is Biden a nationalist? Did I miss something? Did he like because that's one of the usual prerequisites for a fascist
it
is like
and it's
intense
also central.
nationalism.
And it's centralizing power in the executive. Don't like what did like he did everything by the book. He passed if he couldn't get legislation passed, he tried through executive order. When they shot down the executive order in the courts, he tried other means, like with trying to get student loan debt canceled and everything. He tried through Congress, didn't work. Tried through executive order, he got some of it, kind of shut down in court. Like, and even with the vaccine mandates, that was an executive order that he did. And I think that was kind of shut down by the courts. And he abided by the courts. He was like, okay, yeah, the courts. But meanwhile, you got Trump here, and he's just like activist judge left and right. That little Caroline Levitt lady, I'm so sick and tired of her. She is literally North Korean propaganda, and we don't give her enough smoke. Next time we're on stream, we need to like make a Caroline Levitt hate like compilation or whatever, because I don't understand how she can look herself in the mirror every night knowing she's telling everyone the most absurd lies. That was a
He
tangent,
said
but
he said, so you think fascists are people who use all legal means to available to them? Who
isn't
said
that the opposite of what we said?
what are you
that's
talking
like
about, dude?
literally that's literally the opposite. I'm saying Biden went through the legal means available to him to try and get something done. Meanwhile, Trump tries to consolidate power. Notice how Trump is trying to use the executive to rule and pass laws, even with the with the Save Act and everything. He's trying to restrict voting rights through executive power. And he's trying to do legislation, but people aren't falling for it. For now, he's trying to do some not illegal stuff, but some questionable stuff that makes you think, gee, he really doesn't respect our democratic process very much. Also, January 6th, like, it's like the biggest thing. So, yeah, I don't see, I know he admitted that Trump is a fascist, but the thing is, you have to use Trump as a comparison point to say, look at what Trump is doing. Look what Biden did. They couldn't be further away from just different from each other and everything. It's just, I don't see how he's a fascist. Like, nothing he did, none of his actions that he took represent someone who wants power for himself, someone who wants to nationalize the government, someone who wants to get rid of our checks and balances. Like, he was a person who ruled, who not ruled, but who legislated. You know, even when it came to passing bills, this man literally is so much of a statesman, like an actual old school politician, that he didn't even want to brag about his wins. He wanted the wins to speak for themselves, now to his own detriment, because he should have bragged about them, because there were some great stuff
Hell
that he
yeah.
did, but he didn't. You
And
know, so
also, and I mean also just some stark comparisons here, but if Biden and Kamala are these fascists, would they have so easily given up the presidency? I
Exactly.
mean, which group between the
yeah,
Biden Kamala camp and the Trump camp, which group refuses to give up power and which group doesn't?
isn't it SCOTUS
Which
that decides when the executive goes too far? Does a fascist obey the courts? Well, that's the thing. Biden obeyed the courts, so he's not a fascist. Like, that's an example of him, being
Well,
he
no,
believes in.
I
Go
think
ahead.
I think I think what he's saying is Trump obeys the courts. I think, but
more?
What?
this is the I don't know.
Whoa,
But
whoa.
this is the thing, chatter. Okay, it's a thing called a spectrum, right? So luckily, we live in United States of America. So there are lots of protections that make things harder for fascists, right? So it's like, are we full completely like, have things just completely gone off the rails and completely out of control? No. right? Because luckily we have protections that stop that. Oh, you're back? Because
Yeah, my
luckily we have
headphones, my
things
earbuds died.
that stop that. So like, has Trump been able to achieve every horrible thing that we've seen fascists do throughout history? No. But that doesn't mean that he's not on the road to that end goal. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if like what your take is like, oh, Trump isn't as bad as a or Trump hasn't done things as bad as Mussolini yet, so he's not a fascist. Like, I don't know if that's where you're coming from, but like, we're on a clear path. Like you can, if you look down the road into the distance, you can see what's to come.
Also, it's about to be $3, bro. I'm about to be done with this shit.
Yeah, we're about to wrap it
I
up.
agree.
But before I go, so he hasn't done full, but you're very sure that's his intention. So that's not what I'm saying. I was just trying to add some nuance, man. I was just trying I was trying to get in your brain, and I was trying to see where you are coming from. I wasn't like, come on, man. Let's have some decorum here.
Nah,
have
that
some
person,
decorum.
that person doesn't understand what a fascist is.
So yeah, we're about to wrap it up because we're coming on the 3-hour mark. But
Yep.
like, bro, I just want to say, I know we had a spirited debate, but it's all love for real. And I wish you the best. Get better.
Yep.
It ain't no love for me. You weird.
And
I just hope he wakes up before it's too late, and he finds himself being shipped off to like wherever, because he didn't think he couldn't understand what fascism is. Like, what, all these camps are really nice. I don't understand.
I mean, it's not
man.
like the Supreme Court literally just almost tried to, overturn the Constitution itself with birthright
Oh,
citizenship in order to appease Donald Trump. I mean,
And
Yep.
also, the current Supreme
sure.
Court is pretty friendly to Donald Trump. So I think if it was a more left-leaning Supreme Court, Donald Trump would probably be more hostile.
He said, so is SCOTUS fascist?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I would argue
yeah.
Alito and Thomas are
Guys,
fascist. I would make that argument.
this
I would
is
make that argument 100%.
we're falling for smoke screens right
Yeah,
now, guys.
you're right. But
These are
yeah.
because this is the thing, chatter. I know I keep saying that we're about to leave, but you have like derailed the original conversation so crazy. Like, I asked you like a couple specific things. I just asked you to explain to me what Biden did that was fascist.
He
I
never
asked you
said it,
to
by the way. He never answered your question. He never answered it.
I know. I asked you to explain to me how both sides are the same and that Beetle is back. And this is where we are. I certainly think pinning down what it is you mean by fascist would remove a smokescreen.
Nah, we're done. We're done. We're done. We're done.
I appeased you a little bit, and I simply asked you, is Biden a nationalist? Because that's one of the core prerequisites of being a fascist. And then Chris brought up the consolidation of power, which I don't know, man. You win. You win. You win.
Fuck
Both
that. He
sides
didn't win
same.
shit.
Both sides same.
Both sides same.
I imagine Biden and Kamala and Obama would call themselves nationalists. Sure. On that note, we got Rashad McCants. This is Out the Mud podcast. We will see y'all next time.
Yeah.
All right.
Peace out, chatter.
Peace out, my fellow nationalists.
All right, y'all. I'll catch y'all later, man.